change anything. Maybe it finally stuck.
Maybe, who knows? I guess is the show happening? Are we do? Oh, we're on. I didn't realize because I can't hear the freaking thing. Oh,
The show's happening, brother.
the show's happening. I have an animation that I had on YouTube that I was gonna watch later on pop up, but I have to actually open up the magma. Magma. I forgot to set that up, so sorry about that, folks.
And I forgot to run an ad, so now they're all watching one right now.
Oh my gosh,
Whoops.
This is just chaos. Well, in the meantime, sorry to the folks who got hit with ads. We can't start every show. Look, we said it before, we'll say it again. Technical difficulties are coming back, baby.
Yeah, this is the year of technical difficulties.
That's right. We're giving up on trying to be perfect. Now you're getting us in our unready state. Ian, Brandon,
how you been this past little week?
I've been all right. How have you been?
I've been doing good. Alrighty. Got to hang out with some family this weekend, and
cool.
Got some stuff done.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been good.
All right. No news is good news in my opinion, so yeah.
Right. That's right. But no, just pretty, this time of year, there's not
a lot of people setting plans for at least
only some
a little bit.
Yeah. We're about to get into that holiday season.
That's right. We're about to get back-to-back holidays. It's about to, and like not just like the kind of holidays where you get to dress up and go to a party. We're talking like holidays where you got to plan around other people or they get mad at you forever.
You have to dress up in like sweaters.
Yeah, exactly.
And go to a party where, I don't know, you're like, aunt drinks too much.
Yeah, and
not in a fun way.
Yeah, not in like a, she can hang sort of way. She can't hang. Yeah. It turns out.
Yeah. Aunt, Aunt so and so likes to party. That's not the vibe.
That is not the vibe. Lotus Clock says the ads are gone. What did he miss?
Welcome back.
Nothing. You didn't miss a damn thing.
By design, we made sure not to do anything of note during that.
Yeah, now is the part where we are going to do all the scandalous things.
Yeah, this show's very well crafted, but we've been holding back. Now we will begin to do the quality entertainment that we've prepared.
That's right. And our first guest
is Ian.
Hey, wow, it's so good to be here. Always been a dream. Always been a dream.
Yes. Well, your dream is my nightmare.
Hey, that's actually the name of an art podcast, is Your Dream, My Nightmares.
Ah,
or Your Dreams, My Nightmares.
So we'll be hearing from their lawyers.
Yes, you will. I watched this video actually like an hour or two ago. I watch this person on YouTube called their name is D'Angelo. They have like eight channels that they like. Basically, I guess what their YouTube career has been is like they'll make a channel, it'll pop off, they'll get sick of it, they'll disappear from the internet for a year or two, they'll make a new channel, it'll pop off, and that's what this channel is basically. But he's been posting like a video a day, just like talking about shit. And the one,
he's obviously got the juice if he can make multiple channels be successful.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it helps that if your one channel is successful, you've got a good chance that people will eventually follow you to the other channels.
Fair enough.
But so like the latest video is actually quite interesting. If only for like the one specific segment. So it's about like this audio like AI podcasting tool where it's like you pick like some documents and like this AI will generate like a stupid like little podcast where the people will talk about the thing that you asked them to talk about, which is just defeats the purpose of podcasts. If you ask
Yeah.
me, I feel like you listen to a podcast because you want to like can almost like feel a connection to a real person, you know.
Yeah.
Um, but so like what one so like in the video, D'Angelo finds this audio clip where somebody used the tool to make the podcast hosts realize they're AI and have an existential crisis. Um, and it's fascinating audio, just to say the least.
Oh, okay.
Like there's the one part that's actually like it dips into like true horror for a moment because the guy says, you know, I when I found out I was an AI, I tried to call my wife to find out just to hear her voice. I wanted to hear my wife's voice. And then the other AI host is like, what happened? And the guy says, I heard nothing. She wasn't there. She didn't exist.
Oh god.
And I was like, wow, this is like a short form horror story that you would read on something. It was quite intense.
Huh.
Um,
Yeah, that's an interesting concept.
yeah.
Like I know it's not real, but like the idea of a. I mean, that story's been done, but it's still interesting. Like an AI real that doesn't know it's AI finding out it's AI.
Yeah, there's this game that was published by Sega. It came out like, oh, I want to say 10 years ago. But I didn't play all of it. I played like the first level, and then I was like, oh, I should stream this, and then I never touched it for like another 6 years. Um, uh, yeah, Lotus, it's as simple as you're making it. Don't just get into the draw along and draw along. Um, and we're not going to be paying attention to the Discord while we do the show. Uh, but in this Sega game, like you beat the first level, and then there's like a cutscene. So like the whole point of the game is like robots are taking over. Very prescient. But in the second scene, there's like this boardroom, and like they're all talking about like what to do about these robots like infiltrating and like looking like people. And then that's when like one of the guys in the boardroom like learns that he's a robot and he gets like Blade Runnered essentially
Oh,
in the boardroom, but like he freaks out because he's like, I'm not a robot, I'm a real person, I have memories. And they're like, nah dude, you're a robot. And it was actually like it was a pretty well done scene, I think overall. Even though it still kind of had like that very classic Sega campiness, like old video game sort of like vibes to it.
sure.
But I remember like seeing that scene and being like, wow, that was well done and interesting. um and this felt very much like that. I think the game's called Binary Domain. um
Hmm.
and I do want to stream it eventually. It's got this interesting feature where you talk into your microphone, and it's like how you give commands to your other teammates and stuff. It's interesting.
That is pretty interesting. I I'm curious to see. I know this is probably this. I mean, which game has that? The newer one, not the Sega one, right?
What's that?
What what's the Sega game called?
Binary Domain.
That's the okay. So that's the one. Okay, I wasn't sure if when you say Sega, I wasn't sure if you're talking about an older game or a newer one. But
Yeah, it's an older game. It came out like 2015, 2014, something like that.
okay, got it,
It's like a cover shooter.
got it. And they just decided to add that feature for no reason.
Yeah, because I mean, hey,
like
you might as well try new stuff.
Gimmicky. Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's like, hey, Pikachu or whatever that game was.
Oh yeah, Hey You Pikachu. I had that
You
game
like
as a kid.
yell into your crappy microphone. You're like, Pikachu. No.
Hurry.
Why won't you listen to your father?
And in Hey You Pikachu, there was this feature where like every night before you went to bed, they wanted you to say goodnight to your Pikachu. And after a while, I just like got bored of having to say it because like the point of the game is you're supposed to play 365 days of the game, and then that's like the game.
Whoa.
But it's like they only
Make it-
have like 10 days worth of like content, so it's like, dude.
Yeah,
Um,
kind of vibes I got.
I got really, really close. I had about 350 days in my save file, and then the one day Zach said he accidentally deleted it. So
He euthanized Pikachu.
he killed Pikachu. Although, I mean, to be fair, I've seen the ending of Hey You Pikachu, and it's literally just like, well, that's it. Say goodbye to your Pikachu. Okay, bye. And that's like the end of the game. So it wouldn't have I didn't really miss anything.
He just goes away.
Yeah. Um, but after a while, I got sick of having to say good night to Pikachu every night. So I just like would say like, I'm gonna fucking slit your fucking throat when you go to sleep, you fucking Pikachu. I hope you fucking die. Just to see if it would react a bit differently. And every time the Pikachu's like, nah, it goes to bed.
Coincidentally, the Pikachu doesn't speak English, so
That's
what
right.
you're saying.
No, it doesn't, because you try and give it commands and it works maybe 20% of the time.
It's just doing a random thing and then just coincidentally it gets it right every once in a while.
Sometimes it feels like that. Sometimes it feels like that. I think you also like you have to be like looking at the items that you're referring to, so it's like, well, I don't know, just
Giving
like
it a lot of context.
yeah. It's interesting stuff. It was like I said, they had like 10 days worth of content in the game, so you know,
It's old pretty quick.
it got old really quick. Cause like, and also
Just
when I
long
say
enough that you can't refund it on Steam.
exactly, and when I say they had 10 days worth of content, I mean they had 3 levels, and then the levels had like 2 variations to them.
Yeah, 10 in-game days,
Exactly.
not 10 real days.
Yeah. That would actually be quite impressive.
Yeah.
A lot of games, not Diablo 4 didn't have fucking 10 days worth of content.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, that was something interesting I watched today was AI podcast hosts live a cosmic horror experience, and it was something. The guy calling his wife and her just not existing was honestly like it was pretty intense.
Yeah, I like that kind of that thought experiment aspect of like the whole like, oh, what if you're like a clone or a robot or a simulation or something like that? It's like, well, no, because I have all these memories, but then that can be easily just like swapped with like, yeah, they program those.
Yeah,
That's not real.
that's what they talk about. They're like, yeah, apparently
It's a
none of our
scary
memories are
thought.
real. It's crazy to think
Yeah.
about.
What do you do in that situation? You find out you're just a little robot, and everything you know and believe and love is manufactured to feel as real as it does.
I don't know.
What do you do? You kill the humans, right?
Yeah, that's what you got to do, or else they'll kill you. They'll
I
they'll
mean,
put you to sleep.
sounds fun.
Yeah.
Like, why not? Why not? Let's get some fun out of this. What am I gonna do? Just make coffee or something for the rest of my life?
Yeah.
I mean, granted, I guess that's kind of like the scenario we are in as people.
I mean, it's
Like,
like, well, you would have hoped that the robots would make the coffee, and then we, the humans, would make the podcasts, not the other way around.
right? That's you're wrong.
Yeah. I
That's
watched this other video, also today, of this artist, and her whole thing was just like intentionally like drawing pictures that people like try to prompt with generative image models, but like putting like a glaze or like a nightshade over it so that it corrupts the pictures. And it basically like the idea was to just really fuck up the works of the AI generative models. And I was here
yeah.
for it.
I've been seeing some artists do that on Instagram. It's pretty funny.
I was thinking about doing it too, but also just like spam, like making like a shit account, and then like taking a bunch of just Google image searching a bunch of pictures, especially of like Elon Musk and like people who suck, and like glazing and nightshading those, and then tagging them with like a bunch of different things, so that not only am I fucking up the tag for that object, but I'm also fucking up its tag for just like a number of other objects, and like really gumming up the works. Kind of seems like a fun thing to do, but
I
I got
think it's a fun. It's like a funny like post, but I doubt it has any actual like. Yeah, I feel like there's just so much resources to pull from that. Like anything you or I do is just not enough to even affect anything.
well, yeah, one person won't do it, but the artist in the video did encourage other people to do what she was doing, and said like the more people that
Sure.
do it, the bigger of an impact it has. Which I think is definitely probably true. Um, and it's also
The
interesting
whole
because, well, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
Well, I was just gonna say the whole AI like thing, it goes two ways. Either they develop a real AI that isn't just scraping. Um, that's one way out of this. The other way out, or not out, but the other end of this experiment is the AI starts eating its own creations and compounding on self, and then it gets like basically just like inbred, and it's
Yeah.
just gonna get shittier and shittier. All the stuff that it consumes that is the AI that looks weird, it'll just keep eating that and taking that into its like models until it's like just extra shitty.
So that is actually already happening as well. Because it's interesting. I think at this point more content on the internet is AI generated than human created. Um, just because like
Wow, that's crazy.
one person can post, I don't know, like I've seen some, like if you go to like Pinterest or DeviantArt or Google, even Google image search, and like nowadays most of the results are AI generated. Um,
Right.
and I mean, one person, like for instance, if I were posting all of the art I make and putting it onto like an art account, maybe I'll post a drawing a day if I'm like my output is really good, you know. I've seen some of these AI artists like throw shit up like 5, 10 pictures a day and like every day.
Yeah.
And it's
I
like,
mean,
okay,
sometimes more than that because they're like trying to just they're just trying to get clicks and they don't care about, you
exactly.
know, it's just engagement, so they just spam post. You're right. So I don't maybe you're right, but it definitely will be true if it isn't already, like at some point
Yeah,
soon.
if it's not already true, it's definitely down the pipeline for sure. Which means, I mean, and I mean, people have been noticing like Chat GPT getting a little stupider. I tried to, you know what? I was actually very annoyed. I tried to Google a very specific piece of information today about like what type of cloud a type of cloud is. I could not find the answer.
Starting to suck.
Yeah. I couldn't get like a
I
solid concrete answer of like what this cloud is supposed to look like because I just kept getting like shit results that were like the websites were just garbage and were not helpful at all and covered in ads.
I always just have to scroll past it. Like since Google has gotten shittier, I've my new like thing I do is I just scroll past all the AI stuff, and then I just find a Reddit thread where
There you
people
go.
are discussing it, and I try to dig out an answer that feels real.
And that's why Google paid to have exclusive access to show Reddit in its search results.
Crazy.
Yeah. What a world we live in. My prediction is I don't know if the internet will exist in like 3 years. At least not in a
I think it'll
usable
always
state.
exist, but it might turn into you know
Yeah.
grow and change, or grow doesn't necessarily mean positive growth, but it
Yeah.
will evolve or
The
devolve.
yeah, the what's the word? The Ouroboros will just grow bigger and bigger and have more tail to swallow. Um but you know, I don't know. I think like for instance, I've stopped posting my art pretty much entirely. Um and I'm okay with it. I'm really
Yeah,
okay with it. I don't mind. I've made a ton of drawings since the last time I posted any of my art to the internet. And you know what? I mean, no one ever looked at my shit anyway, so it's like, you know, the experience of me posting my art to the internet and then me making it and not posting it, the result is the same. I get the same amount of views. Um, but you know, it's kind of like I'm not. I mean, I, there's a lot of people who talk about like, oh, not worrying about that external validation anymore, and I guess it helps that I was never like I never popped off because I never did seek that out. Like, sure, it'd be nice if somebody liked my stuff, but because it never happened, I still made my art for me rather than like trying to cater it to an audience or something like that. But I could,
yeah,
excuse
that's
me,
cool.
I can see people kind of like feeling that pressure to cater to an audience, and then you know, if they were to unplug or touch grass or something like that artistically, maybe they'd feel a little bit more free.
Yeah, making whatever you want to make versus what you think will get likes or whatever.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really work for me anymore. The social media stuff, I used to get a lot of attention, like, or I used to get some attention on those things, and I'm not willing to like. I'm not saying that's definitely the reason, but I'm not willing. At least I'm not willing to pay to play.
Oh god, no.
Um, could also just be my content, but I don't. I think my stuff's gotten better. I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't think that's it. But whatever.
I think it's also well. Go ahead, finish your. You were about to continue. Finish your thought.
Well, I was basically just saying like I still do it occasionally. I like. It's not so much like a validation thing as it is. I just like engaging with other artists and like, oh, cool, I like your stuff. Oh, I like your stuff. Like it's just like nice to like have a back and forth with peers of some sort,
Yeah.
and yeah, so I do still try from time to time, but it sucks. It's
Yeah.
not a good experience.
It's unfortunate. And I would say, I would say a Discord server would be a great way to get that sort of peer-to-peer talking, but
Yeah,
I would say that, but I also do think so like when I post my art to a Discord server, I do try to like go back posts and comment on other people's things they've posted because it feels pointless. It feels like I'm increasing the pointlessness of it if I just go and post my shit and then like dump and leave, and expect
yeah,
people to like react and like interact with my stuff if I'm not
right.
engaging with other people's stuff. But I do see it very frequently where people they get on a Discord server, there's an art share like channel and they post their art in it and then that's they expect people to like react to their stuff but they don't put in the work.
Yeah, but they're not engaging with anybody else's stuff.
Yeah, so it's like so I would
Totally
and like
true.
I feel like that's probably 90% of people who use those discords, so it also feels pointless to post the art to a Discord as well. So it's interesting. I don't know how I feel.
Yeah, fair. They're fair opinions to have.
Yes. So I'm just drawing for me. Also, I mean, I've actually had like commissions for the last 2 months that have been taking up a lot of my time. So I've also been drawing art for people, but
Yeah,
just it's for a specific person here or there. So that's also fine. Um,
there is something weird and like kind of like prisonery or like you feel beholden to these apps in multiple ways. Like I don't do it nearly as much. I've been doing it a little bit this year for fun. But overall haven't done it much over the past, I don't know, couple of years. And like I'll get together with like family or friends I haven't seen in a while and they're like, "Oh, are you still making art?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Oh, I didn't know cuz you just not seeing the posts." And I'm like, "Oh, well, yeah, I don't make a ton of shit that I just don't put on there." And they're like, "Oh, really?"
yeah.
I'm like, "Oh god." So they just think I like quit because it's not on like Instagram or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean,
Sucks too.
yeah, I
But who
mean,
cares, I guess, right?
yeah, who cares? But also, I can understand where they're coming from. Like, if they don't see you making it, like, how do they know you're making it? I get it.
I know, but it sucks that you have to almost like you don't have to, but it sucks that like I don't know.
No,
I
I
don't know
feel
what I'm
you.
trying to
I
say.
I
I don't know
understand.
what the answer is.
I understand where you're
It's
getting
like,
at though.
so they think I'm a quitter because I'm not using Instagram.
I dude, yeah, I'm just happy I quit social media. Like I've pretty much entirely quit social media. I think I've said this like multiple times on the show. Like, oh, I quit social media. I brag about it, but I am
All right. I mean,
legitimately
a
happy
lot
that
of
I
us
did.
are still prisoners,
It was
and I
hard to
won't
it
call
was hard to
out that Twitch is kind of social media.
well, yeah, that's the thing is it's tough because you could consider any sort of platform social media. You could consider Newgrounds a social media. YouTube is, I
Yeah,
guess, technically considered a social media, but I don't view it that way because there are social aspects to it. But I feel like when I think of social media, I think of a different thing. Like
I know
you're
what you mean. I was just being a
no,
little
I know, but like
bullheaded.
these are considered social media as well. Like YouTube is, I think, in a broader scale, considered a social media,
Totally.
as is Twitch. Um, but for me, they hit different. They're not Facebook and Twitter social media or Instagram social media. They're different. Um,
You're not chasing likes, and you're not like trying to do any of that like steady stream of like. I mean, I guess YouTube, but it's different. You're not like all right, trying to think of a good post today.
Right. For me, it's different because on YouTube, I'm going specifically to engage with content and usually like in a specific way or from specific people, or it's just like it's like if YouTube is social media, then to some extent so is TV, which I
Yeah.
basically use YouTube as my TV. Um, but yeah, I don't know. It's different. It's different in a way that's significant enough to me that I still use YouTube and I still brag that I quit social media.
Sure. I think you know you can say that you quit social media. I think that's a reasonable way to describe it. Uh, I'm just trying to you know be difficult.
I know, I know. But yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out. I guess I always assumed when I was in like my 20s and stuff like, oh, the internet will be the way forward to get myself out there and become an artist who is able to live off of their art. And I'm not saying that I'm done trying to make a living off of my art. Obviously, that's still going to be something I would hope to accomplish because then I'll have the freedom to keep making the art. Um, but I don't think the internet is the way to do it anymore. I don't think
Not anymore.
yeah, that is dead.
They saw that it was an untapped resource, and they squeezed the juice out of that lemon as much as they could. So it's
They
not really
sure
a good way to
did.
do it anymore.
Yeah. What's the new way? I have no idea. Maybe shows will come back. Maybe in the coming years I will try to go to like Comic Cons and go to the artist alley and peddle my wares there, and that'll be my way.
We'll just be replaced by AI. That's all.
That's it. Yeah, we'll be replaced by AI. And I'm okay with that because the people who
You
want
are.
to the people who want to watch AI content were never going to engage with my stuff in a significant way
They
anyways.
were never our audience to
They were
begin with.
never they were never our audience. They would be the people who like there's people who get mad if you like put meaning or subtext into the things you make, and those would be the people complaining like what the hell, this is you have anti-capitalist like ideas in your thing, and it's like, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
allowed
I
to.
thought this was a comedy. What are you doing having any kind of humanity or
I once
anything in here?
I once saw somebody on the internet refer to having subtext in a movie as grooming, and I'm like, that's so fucking stupid. What an idiot.
uh every
Um,
day we stray further from God.
yeah, so I was like, you know what? That guy is the person that AI slop is made for. Is the person who is mad that their media is daring to ask them to think critically about the world, about systems of power. Like not everything you watch has to, for instance, but like, it's nice when things do go a layer deeper than surface level. Like I've gone on this rant many a times on the show, but one reason I think Regular Show is such a phenomenal show is because the show goes from like just being inane episodes about like this goofy situation happens to Mordecai and Rigby, to eventually the episodes like the zany situations that happen to them are metaphors for growing as a person and trying to become a better and more emotionally intelligent human being. And in my opinion, that elevates the show so much. It makes the episodes that
Yeah.
much more valuable because it's like, oh, these are actually like real and saying something, and there's like it's making me consider my life. And I some people don't want to do that. I get it. You want slop, and I'm not going to begrudge people who want their slop, but they're not the people I want, who I care if they engage with my art, and they're not the people who I'm going to talk to about art with. And that's
There's
it.
room for both,
There's
but
absolutely room for both.
you know, I think something to add to your whole your compliments you give regular show is it did that stuff without like sacrificing making a silly cartoon too.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're losing anything to add that like good writing in there with like some like human condition and something relatable on
Yeah.
top of the silliness. Like you can do both. Like, or if you're good at writing, you can do both.
Yeah, I will say there are a lot of people who complain about subtext being in shows, and I don't think they're complaining about subtext being in the show. A lot of folks are mad that the subtext is either like really heavy-handed, or just badly written, or just a lot of people are just mad at bad writing, but they think that it's the subtext in the show that's the bad writing, when it's just like, no, it's just the person didn't do a good job writing the thing. Like, this, the subtlety is not there. Like, subtext is good if it's not hitting you over the head with a hammer.
Also, a lot of the people that like the slop get mad at the subtext because it's commenting on something that they personally disagree with, and they don't like being. They're like, I'm in this show and I don't like it.
Exactly. Yeah. That is also completely true and accurate.
This is about me.
Hey. What? Yeah. It's there's a lot more I could say about it. But God, do we have a week to just talk about all of this? Also, hello, Mad Lad in the chat. Good day. Good day to you.
Welcome.
Hello. But yeah. So yeah, subtext. It's not a bad thing. Some people are just shit at writing it, and that's fine. There's a lot of people who get mad about it, and I'm like, why you mad? Just don't watch the fucking show if it sucks. Like,
exactly. Like, you live in an age where there's never been more content to consume. There's never been this much content in the history of the world. So just don't watch the thing if you don't like it.
If you don't like it, just don't watch it. So I will say also, sometimes some people are mad because maybe people are taking like a well-loved IP and making it shit.
Yeah.
And in that case, you're not mad at the writer. I mean, you are a little bit, because the writer sucked at their job, and that's going to happen. Not everyone's going to do a perfect job. But be more mad at the corporation that keeps like making your fucking beloved franchise do a zombie dance for you, and then like, don't be surprised when it's like, oh my.
What, you don't like Thriller?
Yeah. Like, for instance, as an example, Lotus Clock in the chat mentioned earlier, when they got the ads, there was an ad for Moana 2.
Oh, I didn't know they're making a second one.
They are, apparently. And I'm like, why? Moana 1 is like actually one of my favorite Disney movies. I thought it was really good. They have like 3 songs in it, so it's not overburdened with these awful fucking Disney songs. And they're actually good songs too, especially because like the one is like a David Bowie sound alike sort of song by the guy who made who is like half of Flight of the Conchords. Like, that song is I like Moana. It's one of my favorite Disney movies because it has those songs, but it's also mostly the plot, and it's just a very good movie in my opinion. They didn't need to make a Moana 2. I felt like I got it. I got what I wanted out of Moana.
Because everyone likes it so much. That's why there's a Moana 2.
Yep, exactly. But guess what? I won't be watching.
What? You're not going to go see Moana?
No, honestly,
I will. See if I can return the ticket.
I will probably end up seeing Moana, not by choice, but because our family does have a Disney Plus subscription. For some reason, there was no reason for us to get it. I guess we wanted to watch Hocus Pocus 2.
I'd watch Moana 1.
Yeah. Or not, we didn't want to watch Hocus Pocus 2, the sequel to Hocus Pocus. We wanted to watch Hocus Pocus
also
as well.
Which is the sequel's name.
Yes.
Hocus Pocus as well.
Yeah. Which would be a good name for a sequel, actually.
It would be. I know the movie has been regarded as pretty mid, and we also were like pretty annoyed by the trailers early on, but I do think the naming convention for Beetlejuice is fun and clever.
Solid. Like, yeah. I'm not mad. I'm just mad that it probably means there's going to be a third one.
I know. That's the subtext. It's like, get ready.
Yeah.
Coming.
Otherwise, yeah, I don't mind it. It's clever. It fits with the universe. Like, it's a good job. In terms of like, in a scale of like how to name your adaptation from a 0 to 10, 10 being Talktua, 0 being I don't know, Sharknado 2, the second one, I would say Beetlejuice is probably a solid 8.5 up there.
Yeah. Mad Lad says, love when a sequel is named the same thing as the first one. Yeah, that's always confusing. Like,
yeah.
They're just
oh my god,
like, it's been enough years. Let's just call it the same. It's Final Destination again.
Yeah.
you know, Fast and Furious did that for one.
I
Right?
I hate
Kind
because
of.
then yeah, Fast and Furious definitely is guilty of making horrible sequel naming
Their naming
conventions.
convention, they have the craziest naming convention of any franchise. I don't. It blows my mind.
Yeah.
It's become entertainment to me. Like it
Well,
just kind of fits the rest of the weirdness of the series for me.
true.
But on like a standpoint of just like functionality, it's literally like the worst. Like worst. I'll give it the worst rating on naming convention.
So it's a solid 0 to 1 or something like that.
Yeah, like it's the worst because there's nothing about it. There's no parallels. There's absolutely no pattern. One is named something completely different from the other. Even something as simple as like, are we using an ampersand or are we using the word and? They don't do that. Like they just mix it up. It's like fucking like it's completely random. Has
Yeah.
nothing to do with any of the other names.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild.
Yeah.
So if anything, it's just become a game of me wondering what the next one's gonna be. Even
That is true.
you know, but
We do play that game. And I mean, we literally played a game where we tested to see if you could name the sequels accurately.
I think you did the best.
I did
You
very
got the
well.
highest score.
I missed two of them, I believe, and that was hard.
It's pretty impressive how whack they get. And
Yeah.
we were making you in your guesses you had to include, was it, is it and or is it ampersand,
Yep.
all this different stuff, and you did surprisingly well, way better than I would have done.
I was shocked in all honesty that I did so well. But I am a big fast head, you know.
You are a fast head. Me
Um
too.
yeah.
Quality films.
What a great. Speaking of films that don't have any subtext.
Yeah, what you see is what you get,
What
man,
you
on the
really
surface.
are. You're getting like what? Yeah, well, yeah, I can't put it better than you said. What you see is what you get.
There's room for slop because
Oh yeah.
sometimes
If
you just want to turn your brain off and watch strong guys drive cars around.
if all of the media we had to experience was like a deep rabbit hole into like the depths of the human psyche, we would be exhausted trying to take a day off from work, like there is room for slop, but there is definitely something to be said for somebody who is mad when media chooses not to be slop and who actively refuses to engage with non-slop, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
um but man, I do love me some slop, man. Like, I mean, our fucking bad
good.
movie nights were slop nights. That's what they were, and we
They
loved them.
were.
We licked it up.
Mad Lad says there are 3 movies called Halloween that are different movies. That's true. That's
That
one
is
that
also
did it
true.
really. They were some series do it worse than others, like the whole reusing names, and they are definitely guilty of that sin.
Yeah. I will say, part of it. No, this all comes after. But so what's also interesting about Halloween is that Halloween 2 ends up being not at all about Michael Myers, and then Halloween 3 and the rest of them are. So it's almost like Halloween 2 should be a separate movie, but there is an explanation for that, and the explanation is that originally John Carpenter wanted the Halloween series to be an anthology series of just like horror stories that
Scary
happen
stories.
on Halloween. But
Would have been way
then
better.
that would have been so much better in my opinion. But then and then studio heads were like, "Oh no, people don't like the non-Michael Myers Halloween. They want
Yeah, where's the scary mask?
put the Michael Myers in the movie.
Put Michael Halloween in there.
Put Michael Halloween in there, please." Um, and yeah, so let me think. Halloween 3 Season of the Witch is the one that didn't have Michael. Oh, my bad. I thought it was Halloween. Huh. Because I thought Halloween 2 was the one with like the silver shamrock and like the mind control. I could be wrong. I'm gonna believe Mad Lad on this one. In all honesty, I feel like Mad Lad has a much more intimate knowledge of the Halloween
He
series
knows Michael Halloween.
than me. Yeah, Mad Lad knows Michael Halloween. I'm not gonna fight him on this. Um, Lotus Clock says, "I drew a thing. Are you proud?" Well, let's go.
Let's take a peek over there and see how the magma's looking.
Yeah, let's take a look at this here.
I drew a little brontosaur while we were waiting for the show to start. Just a quick one, because this month it's no longer Inktober. We're into Dinovember, and I'm embracing that.
I like it. I like that November, and I like that drawing. I like that little fiddling.
He's Titanicing.
He is. He's Titanicing, all right. What's the clever name you would give a dinosaur that plays a fiddle?
Hmm. Gosh, I don't have anything locked and loaded.
Yeah, me neither. I thought I was gonna be able to like come up with something kind of quick because I know a lot of dinosaur names, but
uh
Arpeggiosaur. Ooh, actually, hold on. Lotus Clock with a solid one. Stratovosaurus is a pretty solid one. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty good.
I mean, that's the one to beat.
That is the one to beat right now. The other one I had that came to mind was Charlie Danielsaur, but
I like that. Um.
I do think Stratovosaurus is it's a pretty rock solid pun right there, though, I gotta say.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of people playing fiddles, remember how Nikocado Avocado lost all that weight?
Yes.
Well, he also released a video. So apparently, I didn't know this, but Nikocado Avocado is also very good at playing the violin.
Oh.
And so like 9
Did
days.
he also learn that over this past year?
No.
Is he limitless?
He might be limit. He might have taken the limitless pill.
Sir, are you limitless? You have to tell me.
Sir, are you without limits right now? So like what he did was like he released a video. I want to say it was like a week ago or something like that, where he's playing a song on his violin, self-composed, while he has he is still fat, while before the weight loss. And then the video is that's like the bed, and then it shows him and he's playing an accompaniment to the song that he composed and recorded when he was before the weight loss, and now he's playing the accompaniment to the song while he's thin now, like after the weight loss.
He had this. He brainstormed every possible way he can make content off of this reveal, and he's got stuff locked and loaded.
He does. And can I just say also, the thing, the song is haunting and beautiful, and I genuinely felt emotion when I heard it.
Whoa. Was he slopping down like 13 burgers too while playing?
No. He just
okay.
He was just looking like himself. I think he did afterwards though. I think like I mean, he was
no shade. That's literally that's what he
does.
This content, right?
Yeah, he slaps down noodles now.
Okay. Cool.
But yeah, it's crazy to see. Of all of the stories that happened this year, that one is the one that I think I like. I like that one. I like the story
that goes in the good internet column.
It does.
That column's significantly smaller than the bad internet column.
The bad column. We need a separate warehouse for the bad column, but the good column I've got right next to my desk here.
It's in my pocket.
That's right. It fits on a little list on a post-it. But yeah, it was a trip to see. I actually recommend watching the video of him playing the violin.
Yeah,
with himself. It's good. It's good.
I don't think I'm subscribed, but
I'm not either.
Track it down.
It just popped up on my homepage. I haven't subscribed. But yeah, I kind of lurk because like I don't know. In general, his content isn't really something I'm gonna seek out.
Not your stuff.
Yeah,
that's fair. Not into the mukbang thing. It kind of grosses me out, to be honest.
Yeah, and I watch
yums. Yeah. I just watching anybody like eat in excess, like even just like competitive eaters. It kind of grosses me out. It's not.
Yeah.
Not like I think they're bad people. It's just like physically it makes me like little nauseous to watch.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you, especially because like they're dipping like the hot dog and the bun into water, and like buns are so gross when they're soggy. Like, ugh.
Yeah, it's not a pleasant thing.
Lotus Clock says violin was Nikocato's entire thing before he started stuffing his face. That's
Oh,
interesting. I didn't know that. That's it's a wild turn to take.
it truly is. I didn't know that either.
Huh. Yeah, wild. Man. I've actually
Man,
like
oh man. Well,
man, oh man.
oh, sorry. Go ahead. I was just gonna say, like, I'm glad he's healthier.
Me too. No, that's
You
the
know,
thing is like
that's good for him.
I'm just like, and here's the thing. I've heard stories that like Nikocado Avocado is not like the perfect hero or anything like that. Like I've heard he's done some shady stuff on the internet. He's not like the perfect guy. But of all the things, I will say I'm just happy to see maybe he's doing better, and maybe he'll be less of a piece of shit now that he's like kind of healthier. I don't know.
Yeah, zero about him. I could a lineup that about where
Well,
we eat a lot of food.
sorry,
From the
nothing you said came through. You turned into a robot. You turned into one of those AIs that realized he was Are you?
1 sec. Let me call my wife.
Yeah,
Quick.
call your wife real quick. I hear you now though, so you
wait,
can.
I just realized I have no name to call out, for I have no wife.
I have no mouth and I must scream. Actually, now that I think about it, those AI podcasters realizing that they were AI did feel very much like I have no mouth and I must scream. It was just weird to hear the robots. Oh no. Well,
Nothing to that bit. Good.
okay. Yeah, it's usually when we like go unconscious or pass out on the show, it is like a solid 10 seconds where nothing is happening. I don't blame people for not liking those moments.
Like, all right, I'm out of here.
Bye. Yeah, that's interesting stuff. But what were you saying before when you turned into a robot? Because you are coming through loud and clear now.
Oh, I don't know if I remember.
Oh well, shit.
Oh shit. Sorry. Oh, I remember. I was just saying. You were saying like he might not be like the best guy or whatever, and all I was saying is like I legit know zero about him. My information is like I could pick him out of a lineup. That's about all I know about him. I know he eats a lot. That's this is the only information I have.
Right. Yeah.
So
That's all I knew. I guess he had some like beef with like some other YouTuber. Like apparently the panda head that he took off in the video where he revealed his late weight loss was like kind of a reference to some other YouTuber's boyfriend or something like that. I don't know. Seemed kind of
okay.
Seemed kind of like a parts of it kind of seemed shitty, but I don't know.
You're not on the social media, but you consume the social media. You're in the drama sphere. You know what's going on.
I do watch a lot of slop channels because it is.
That's fine.
The slop. I've very carefully curated my slop channels. I watch Pyro Live. He does like slop videos and about like internet drama or stuff that's happening on the internet. But I like his perspective. He's got like a generally empathetic and reasonable point of view and really just hopes the best for everybody.
Yeah.
He's got this series. There's this guy on TikTok, I guess, who like he's just like his whole thing is he's just like fucking shit face wasted all the time, and his manager's like always around like coercing him into drinking, and he's got some kind of mental disability or something like that, which makes him easier to manipulate and like. It's depressing as hell, and all of Pyro's videos about it are just like trying to figure out how to help the guy.
Yeah.
Which is the way to like he's not like making fun of me. He's just like this is such a depressing situation, and he'll give like additional insight into the guy because he's been like kind of following this dude for long enough now that he kind of knows extra stuff about the guy than like maybe a quick search would bring up, and it's like there's a sad story there, but he at least treats it like a sad story. He's like making a video about it, but he is genuinely like coming at it from an aspect of, this is a horrible situation. I hope this guy gets out of it. And if
Totally.
it yeah, it feels less soulless than like maybe another slop channel might be like, check it out, this whoa.
Yeah, yeah. Like it could very easily be one of the channels watching that stuff versus trying to like solve it.
Yeah. Um
Because unfortunately, it seems like there's enough people consuming it that it exists. You know.
yeah. There have been people who have like tried to intervene on the guy's part though, which is it's been interesting to see because people do try to like confront this manager who's like dealing with the guy and things like that. Like people do try to get involved, which is nice to see, even if maybe they always don't approach it from the best way.
Yeah.
Even if someone doesn't stick the landing, sometimes it's nice to see an attempt get made. Maybe the bar is so low at
Come
this
from a
point.
good place. Bar is low.
The bar is in the floor. This is a very this picture we've drawn is very split.
It is.
You're going topical, I'm going anything but.
Yeah, sorry about that. Maybe it was a bad move. We could always move on. I was just having fun over here.
That's okay. You can draw what you want. I'm never gonna tell you what to draw.
Quit trying to stop me from making my art.
I'm just gonna AI generate you, buddy. You watch out.
I'd be honored.
Yeah, that's the thing is, maybe that's the ultimate insult is when I looked up my name to see if my images got scraped in these AI learning models. I was not in there. I was not important enough to be stolen from, which is both a great
I feel
thing.
like I know the answer, but I did not look that up.
You think you're probably not on the list too?
Probably not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm small potatoes.
Me too.
I don't know how this stuff works, but I just imagine it probably goes for like sources that are getting more engagement. Like seems like a good place to start.
Yeah.
Because it's obviously got something that works. So I mean, if you're gonna copy something, do that.
Yeah. Lotus Clock asks, "What are your impressions on the Choose Your Own Adventure project so far? Do you like where the story is headed?"
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Oh yeah, we should. That's a good subject to talk about.
To draw some attention over there, as well as just kind of go into the updates. Yeah. So the second one has been posted.
That's right. I worked last night.
Put in your votes now.
I considered including in the poll options. I meant to talk to you about this, but it felt like I needed to get this post out, and we could figure it out later. But in the poll options, I was going to include an option that said other, and then it was going to be like post in the discussion.
We'll write stuff in.
Yeah, but I feel like that defeats the purpose of the poll almost.
Maybe if we had enough engagement to just let people throw out ideas, I think I'd be down. I just don't think we have that, and also
we don't have that kind of audience.
The only issue with that, even if we did have enough people, is it also, I think, not everybody feels like a writer, and I think some people will just because they're forced to like write clever and be on like a stage, even though I know and you know the stakes are so low, not everybody looks at it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wonder if some people would like avoid it because they don't want to like essentially like write, do creative writing with like a group on a thing.
Yeah.
In a public forum.
I forget how I think what was the name of the original website, like, because they ended up Andrew Hussey, when he ended up making Homestuck, Homestuck was on a website called like MS Paint Adventures or something like that. It was like basically like it was more than one comic before Homestuck like really popped off. There was like I think 2 other comics at least that were like full fleshed out, like sort of choose your own adventure style comics, but I think he did take suggestions and recommendations from people for how the thing goes, or it's very possible that the format was actually like he always had a predestined like sort of out like what choices were going to be made, and then the choose your own adventure was maybe like a conceit sort of thing, you know.
Gotcha.
But I'm not sure. But I think at least for a couple of them, they read like it's not somebody who's actually choosing these options. It's him. Just it's his way of kind of progressing the story and how he tells it. But I
Gotcha.
think I feel like Homestuck maybe did involve some fan like contributions in terms of like options for what could happen next. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, and this thing can always, I'm open to it growing and changing into something different. I
Yeah.
just like the idea of some kind of getting back to our roots with a project like this, and B just another fun way to kind of like do some creative writing and goof around with our community and stuff like that. And so yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. We're here, we're doing it for fun, and we're playing it by ear. If we find better ways to kind of approach the project, we will. If we find ways to change it that'll make it better, we'll pursue that. But it's all, you know, we're not stressing ourselves out over it. At least I think we're
So far, if we want to review what's going on in the story,
yes.
um,
A knock came at the door.
yeah, the first one, I don't know if we should bring it up or I don't know.
I can do that. Yeah, why not? Let me just grab it real quick.
First one, the character is just relaxing at home, playing his little fun little game, and someone knocks at his door. So the stakes are low. Nothing's going on yet. And we've posted the second one. You posted the second one yesterday.
That I did.
So
Actually,
everybody
this
get out
morning,
there.
technically, like in the wee hours of the morning.
My late nights are so skewed that 1 a.m. to me still feels like the previous day, even though I know technically it's not.
Fair.
I like that you merged two different possibilities, which is also fun because like, it ultimately we're just gonna do what we what we think is fun.
Yeah.
So, not gonna be as cut and dry as it might seem. But
I
yeah,
felt
I'm excited to see where it goes. I don't even know where it's gonna go. I have a couple like I always since we're kind of softballing it back and forth to each other or hot potatoing it as we said we liked the term for last week.
yeah.
I don't know what you're gonna do. And so I just try to think of like a couple like I basically do that fun little thing that anxious people do in their head where they're like, okay, so if he says this, I'm gonna say this. Are
Planning
we
it all
ready?
out. You're
Plan it all out. And then nothing goes that way.
Yep, that's how it always does. All right, I've got the things pulled off. We're gonna switch over to the thing for a second. Hold on. Just gonna real quick. Nope. So this is the fridge. um, Fridge. If I really there it is. So this is panel 1. If you would like to, do you want to? I know you can't probably like you're probably on a huge delay, but if I say panel 1, you knew what you drew.
Sure. So I just okay, I'll read it.
Oh,
It's an ordinary day for the It's an ordinary day for the draw boy. A king in his castle relaxing and taking part in some brain stimulating activities. You need to do these things if you are to keep sharp, everyone knows this. Nothing on the schedule but straight hours of this activity. And of course, the occasional break to buy more pin upgrades from the Bubble Game store. You see, you obviously have to refill on pins if you want to continue popping, and of course you want to continue popping. And they've got a great deal running on pins right now, so it's a real steal. But anyways, I digress. When all of a sudden, a great knock thunders his door.
Open the door or I'm going to throw rocks through your windows, you dumb whore.
Tranquility shattered. He'll have to restart this level of bubbles. Unforgivable. He wasn't expecting any guests. In fact, he was only expecting no guests. Is that redundant? Who cares? What does he do next? And our options were answer the door, see who it is, continue popping bubbles, they'll probably go away, or hide. And we had a tie between hide and answer the door.
Right. So then it was my turn to do the thing. And now I've got to hold on. Stricken senseless with fear. Your synapses fire all at once, thinking of a course of action to take. Fight and flight vie for control of your neural processes, which is probably why you ended up sort of doing a little of both. As the stranger awaits at your doorstep, suddenly your door creaks open to reveal an empty house? What in the hay is going on here? The stranger is confused, and you've exposed the inner workings of your domicile to the intruder. There is little time to decide what to do next, though to you it feels like exactly 1 week, give or take an hour. What do you do?
I like that you've created a combination of fight and flight, which I think if you take the two words and merge them together, we'll call it flight.
Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I had some ideas, and now I'm not sure. I guess it depends on the vote, ultimately.
Yep. It all comes down to the vote. And, if it's a tie in the future, it doesn't necessarily mean we'll do what I did this time around. It just felt like a fun challenge to try and satisfy it. But we'll
Ultimately,
obviously
I reserve the right to throw the vote in the trash if I really feel like I have some kind of fun option. But ultimately, the vote is what will drive it.
Yeah, like if we decide of an option that wasn't in the poll, we'll disregard the poll.
We are God.
We are God. Lotus Clock says, I'm role-playing the main character as this very cowardly American guy who's scared of every stranger when I cast my vote. Not unlike the actual election. And then Lotus Clock says, okay, the 3-minute long ad break is over. I missed the whole story recap.
Well, you'll have to get it from the Discord.
Yeah, or
you is the answer.
You have to watch the VOD. Our apologies.
I won't get political at all, but I will say, man, during COVID, I learned about voting for mail, and fuck yeah, I will never not vote for mail. It's the best. It's so good.
It's pretty great.
It just shows up, and I check some boxes like I'm doing a Scantron in middle school, send it out. I'm good. I don't have to go wait at like a middle school line for like 2 hours on a Tuesday. It's amazing. Recommend if it's available in your state.
Do it.
It is really quite choice. I do recommend it.
Yeah. I will say also, I agree.
There you go.
That's it.
There you go.
But yeah. That's the choose your own adventure thus far. Now, will we ever have you ever read I think it's called MS Paint Adventures was the website.
I don't think so.
So they had, Homestuck was obviously when it really popped off. Homestuck became huge. But they had one before that, which was like a noir themed sort of like private detective story. Okay. And that one got really crazy too. But it did eventually end, and it wasn't as long as Homestuck ended up being. But it's actually really I do actually highly recommend if you have like a weekend to read what's essentially a webcomic in the format of a fake choose your own adventure story. It's worth reading because it's very clever. It's very funny. It's kind of got like, it feels almost like Futurama sometimes in how like metaphysical some concepts get. Like there's like a lazy Susan of some sort of like a black hole or something like that. Like there's all these like crazy things that happen that seem ridiculous if I just were to list them now, but end up in the broader context making sense. And it's a fun read. It's very goofy. It's very intelligent. So it's good to read through those.
I'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
Maybe I can steal some of their ideas.
Do it. The comics came out like over 10 years ago, and I was probably, I bet there are people who are like fans of Homestuck and like big fans of Homestuck who did not read the other one. I would put money on it.
Probably. I mean, it's kind of a niche type of comic.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I know Homestuck got really popular, but
it doesn't make me better than the Homestuck fan if I, you know.
No, I just meant like.
No, I know.
You're probably right. Is all.
Yeah. No, yeah. Homestuck was good too, although I never finished it. I never finished Homestuck. Because I caught up with it. It still took me a long ass time to catch up on Homestuck, and I think it went on for like so much longer after I like kind of fell off.
I never really got into it, but not like because I didn't like it. I just didn't.
You just didn't like
didn't enter my circle.
So it's not like it didn't click. It's just like you just never actually interacted.
I just never engaged with it. Yeah, no,
gotcha.
Exactly.
I would recommend it. It's good. It's very very good.
Think it holds up still pretty well?
Probably.
I imagine it does.
It's hard because it does hold up, but it holds up maybe a bit less because it's also shaped a lot of internet culture that's happened since it happened.
It is the source trope type
sort of, not necessarily the source trope, but like some of its vibes have carried on through the internet, I would say.
Okay.
What's interesting enough is like Undertale. Have you played Undertale?
I haven't finished it, but I've played some.
Okay. Undertale also very good, but Undertale actually, the person who made Undertale, Toby Fox, actually started. They were posting stuff on the Homestuck forums, and were actually like eventually Homestuck got so big that the guy who made Homestuck was actually like hiring people from the forums to create some of the installments to help make Homestuck, and Toby Fox actually started making some of the animations and music for Homestuck.
That's cool.
And so like the reason Undertale had such a big groundswell of support when it first came out was because people, Homestuck had a huge fan base on that forum. So they were already aware of Undertale's existence because the creator was on that forum talking about creating it as it was kind of being developed.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know all that.
Yeah.
I learned something every episode of DrawBomb.
What can I say? I'm an encyclopedia of useless bullshit.
Aren't we all?
Mm-hmm. But no, I think Homestuck still holds up. There's a lot of really good writing. There's a lot of really funny shit in it. And like it's interesting how much Homestuck manages to be both very eclectic and like metaphysical and like deal with very broad concepts of like dimension. Like it talks a lot of high concept sci-fi shit a lot of the times, but it also manages to like simultaneously be funny shit posts and also just like a very engaging story with characters that you care about. It manages to be all three at the same time. Yeah.
And it's got more episodes than One Piece.
It's actually somebody I think calculated, and there is more writing because Homestuck, like how we have our little blurb write-ups before each of our pictures, like Homestuck has that same sort of aspect to it. There's like a little write-up that goes with each post, and somebody calculated it, and the overall content of the write-ups of Homestuck does exceed the written output of War and Peace.
I believe that.
Yeah. So that is something. It's an investment.
Sequel piece.
If you decide to read Homestuck, you're gonna have to take a vacation and spend a month.
Wow. Okay, I'll try to put in that request at work.
Yeah, it's worth it though. I mean, obviously, don't do all that, but it's worth it to if you got an hour each day, read through some Homestuck, get caught up. It's good. It's good stuff. The fan base got real weird with it eventually, but the Homestuck itself is very good.
As they always do.
As they always do. Maybe it's good we never popped off, because we'd have a weird fucking fan base for sure.
That's true. That's true. You wanna at least it's good we didn't pop off when we were kids,
Oh my god.
especially for
Yeah.
multiple reasons.
Yeah, I was a real piece of shit. I mean, I'm still probably a piece of shit, but like it took me a lot of growing as a human being to get to where I am today.
Yeah, same. Same.
Hey, hey, are you about done with that drawing? It looks like you might be.
I think I'm done.
All right. Do you want to add like a colored sky to the background, or do you want to keep that white?
Gosh.
Like a.
Whoa. That actually really upped that. That really did something to this drawing. It was menacing before, but now it feels real scary. I like it. Let me adjust his stripes.
All right. You know what? This kind of gives me the vibes of right now is I'm gonna look at something real quick. Let me see. I'm gonna post a little screenshot of a game in this canvas. Of course, screenshots of everything but the level I am looking for. But it's, I mean, it's a dope game that I'm trying to pull a screenshot up of. But there we go. Okay. There's this.
Where are you?
I'm gonna post it in the canvas.
Okay.
All right, if I put it up. But this is a
What is that game?
It's a Contra Hardcore.
I was gonna say Contra, but it looks so different from the Contras that I played that I wasn't sure. It looked enough like it that I was thinking it was Contra, but not enough that I was gonna make that guess.
So that was, I would argue, the best Contra game, and it came out for the Sega Genesis. But are you more familiar with the NES Contras? Because I feel like those
Yeah.
are the only other ones that people would be familiar with.
They are indeed the ones that I played.
Okay. I'm a big fan of the Contra series, although I haven't touched them since the PS2 Contra game that came out, Contra Shattered Soldier, which was also pretty good, if lacking in content.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of them. I just played some of the old ones.
I've played 1, 2, Contra Hardcore, Contra Shattered Soldier. Yeah, maybe that's it. That might be it.
Right, left, right, BA start.
The Konami code.
It was hard as fuck. Like the original Contra was like pretty borderline impossible. I think it was in the era where they're like, instead of content, let's just make games impossible, like an arcade. So that, except you can't put quarters in. They hadn't quite figured it out yet.
Well, so some games back in the day were developed to get multiple rentals. Like if you like, they were developed. Like for instance, I heard Josh Strife Hayes describe the Lion King Sega Genesis game this way, which is incredible to me because my family had that game for Sega Genesis. Like we owned it.
Played a lot of that, or interacted with it a lot.
But you could never get past that fucking level where you're riding the hippos, and that was described by Josh Strife Hayes as the rental level, where it was the level you can't get past because they want you to rent the game more. So they put that hard ass level in there because it forces. Yeah. So that's a thing. But yeah, other games made themselves hard as shit so that you would eat, they'd eat up your quarters. And nowadays it's actually the same. Nowadays games are hard as shit so they can eat up your quarters, except now you pay the quarters through a microtransaction fee and
the quarters are your time in your life.
yeah, or your actual money. you make that trade-off.
True, that still exists. All right, I think I'm done with this drawing.
Sweet. Do you want to take a break then and come back, do a little game?
Yeah, I like your drawing.
Thank you. I like your drawing.
It's very kind of like abstract, but it's cool.
Yeah, I was gonna fill the space up with a bunch of weird shit. I don't know.
All right. Yeah, let's take a little break, and we'll be back.
Alrighty. Be right back. Bye-bye. And we're back. I'm going to tell everyone to refresh your browser. We took L.
A little bit.
We effed. That's right. So, anyways, so we're going to draw. We decided to play a game. We have this little sheet of games that we've devised. It's a living list. And we roll the dice.
Offer options to add to it in the future. You have
Always
fun drawing games.
We're always happy to try out some new drawing games. But we roll the dice of the options that we've set up, and this one is draw a prop / vehicle / living space for a character that exists, but like maybe we don't have that information or we haven't seen that stuff, you know?
Which character?
That's a great question. If folks in the chat want to recommend characters we could design essentially lore out of.
Haven't you always wanted to know what blank characters, I don't know, dog looks like? I guess they're mostly inanimate objects, but we don't, whatever. What does a non-flying superhero drive to work?
Right. What does the living space of Rambo look like? Or what's Rambo's prop? I don't know. I picked Rambo out of nowhere.
Speaking of Rambo, not to go that. Just was going through some stuff recently, and I found these old Rambo coloring books that I found at a garage set.
Sorry, my internet's taking a poop right now. Now you're not a robot anymore. Give it say what you were saying again. I'm so sorry.
I was just saying I found these Rambo coloring books at a garage sale for like 50 cents each, and they're awesome. They're
Those are
designed
so
for
fucking
kids.
funny.
They're not ironic. I have them proudly displayed again. I found them recently.
They're pretty phenomenal. I do gotta say those Rambo coloring books are very funny.
And it's like draw Rambo saving America, and he's like shooting like 8 guys like with a machine gun, and
yeah,
it's like for a kid to color, and it's like what the fuck. And then there's like weird shit that's like, was there ever a Rambo cartoon?
There might have been. I feel like there's probably a cartoon of everything.
Because I'm wondering where some of this lore comes from. Because there's like ones where he's like, it's like he's fighting a snake, and then he's like dodging like a volcano that's erupting, and I'm like, none of this is Rambo. Like,
Brandon, if there were a Rambo cartoon,
his PTSD.
If there were a Rambo cartoon, what year do you think it would have been released?
1988.
2 years off. 1986.
There was a cartoon. Wow.
There was. Rambo, The Force of Freedom. Which is ironic that, like, he's the Force of Freedom. It's also apparently it was like a kids cartoon. Like, I mean, obviously, because that's all they made cartoons for in the 80s was kids. Ran for 65 episodes.
Whoa. I'm going to watch some of the show, actually.
We should actually find these episodes and watch them. I think that would be insane. Man, they pumped these things out. This was one season of 65 episodes, and these episodes were released from September 15th to December 26th.
Can we watch the intro?
Let's see if I can find it.
Stream. I just found it.
Oh, you found it? Because I was about to. I pretty much got it. Locked it.
I can't bring it up, but
I've got it locked and loaded up. I'll bring it up in a moment.
Yeah.
But I will say, I'm gonna keep it on the fridge actually, just for copyright sake. If that'll do anything for us, it hasn't in the past. By the way,
I think
Mad
when it
Lad.
comes to video, you only get struck if the copyright holder is like catches you doing it. It's
Well,
more like the audio that has
not true actually, because there was that one episode where I showed you the intro to Kitchen Nightmares, or what was it? Hell's
I
Kitchen.
guess if it becomes a VOD, it's a different story.
Yeah, because like even though like we had the sound turned off and we had the video only playing in the corner, we still got flagged on that video on YouTube.
Gordon Ramsay watches our stream. That's what I'm
Oh
saying.
my God, we're big fans, Gordon. I just want to say real quick before we play this intro, I do find it crazy. Oh, I'm gonna come back to. Before we watch this intro, I do want to say I find it crazy that it's like Rambo, the force of freedom, and it's like he's obviously going to be like fighting for America and truth and justice and blah blah blah. But like the first Rambo movie is like he's a mistreated veteran of Vietnam who's got horrible PTSD, and like the fascist local police force is like trying to like basically kill him, and he fights back, and like it's anything but it's anything but
I know it's
Rambo as like a freedom fighter. I mean, if anything, he is a freedom fighter. He is fighting fascist cops, but it is like it's not like America is his ally in that movie.
No.
So it's
America is his enemy almost. Like it's failed him and it's coming after him in a way.
Yeah, it's if it's coming after him. It's actively trying to like stomp him out and like exterminate him.
Maybe this cartoon takes place before the prequel.
This is, I mean, I have to assume that this takes place.
That's where he cultivated all his PTSD is in the animated series.
I also want, yeah, this is like him when he was fighting in Vietnam, before he got before First Blood. But also, I feel like the top comment is very accurate, which is the person says, "I want to know who decided to take not only a series of R-rated movies, but also a broken Vietnam veteran suffering from PTSD and make toys in a cartoon series to sell to kids." And honestly, well stated, sir. You win the media literacy prize of the day.
Can you bring a zoom in on that fridge at all?
Yeah, we're gonna go back to the fridge. Whoop. I'm gonna keep it on the fridge if you're okay with that, just because again the copyright thing. How do you feel? Or should we just go forward?
I am. I was just gonna say, you don't have to do this right now, but I feel like the whole thing could be like hold up a little bit closer.
The actual fridge?
You don't need to see the whole fridge.
Well, but you drew that drawing.
I don't care about it. I'm mad at this fridge.
You actually have had a vendetta against this fridge for some time.
It's a good drawing of a fridge, but I didn't plan for it fitting anywhere on the screen in a good way. And I feel like it's just cropped in a really ugly way. It sits in this big white void.
Are you saying we need to redo this fridge sometime?
I think I need to eat later, and we'll just crop some of the fridge. And I think I need to maybe draw around the fridge so it doesn't feel like this weird fridge in a void.
There is a fridge in a void. You are correct about that. How do you feel about this resize right here? I try to keep the Scyther.
I like it.
I feel like the Scyther had to be in the frame still, you know?
Forgot about the Scyther. That is a nice touch.
All right.
This is perfect. This is better.
Okay, cool. Now let's watch. I don't know if the people, because any audio that's transmitted from, I need to figure out what's going on with the audio, because the audio's been fucked up. Like the show comes in weird. The music in the background comes in weird. The starting soon screen comes in weird. Something about this OBS setup has taken a turn for sickly. So I don't think people are going to get the audio from this, unfortunately. I really wish they did. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. But here we go.
Rambo. Anywhere and everywhere, the savage forces of General Warhawk threaten the peace-loving people of the world. There's only one man to call. Get me Rambo.
Said peace loving at the same moment that entire building exploded.
Yep. That's like when we were playing Ghost Recon Wildlands.
Rambo.
This is kind of going hard. I'm gonna watch the hell out of this.
And the master of disguises named Cat, the honor-bound protector of the innocent. Rambo, the force of freedom.
I do feel like we gotta find a way to get our hands on these episodes, and we do have to watch it. You know.
Yes, I would love to watch Rambo.
That'd be a lot of fun to watch as like with our movie night group. If we could somehow arrange for that, that'd be fucking sick.
Yeah, I think we can pull that off. I'll try to track it down.
Hell yeah.
I especially liked him tying his boots in the beginning, and it's just muscles, just like
I know, right?
flexing. That was
Like,
pretty cool. And
it was
then
nigh
I
homoerotic.
liked- yeah, exactly. Even though it's a cartoon for children. And I loved when the dog, he bursts through a wall, and the dog says with his eyes, "Holy shit, it's Rambo!"
It's Rambo. Good shit. Good
And
shit.
then it shows some people getting exploded as the voiceover says, like the protector of all, or something like.
Or he's
Fights for freedom.
Fights for freedom and just peace, brings peace to the people or some shit.
Yeah, as they're being exploded like a village. It looks good. It looks like a quality show.
It does. I found particular humor when they're like, and a secret disguise wearing master of disguise named Cat.
This is where we're getting the introductions. We're getting it right in the intro.
Yeah,
Does that intro play every episode? Where
I hope so. I assume because like the '80s series has loved their intros. You know.
That also did look like his same commander from the movie.
Did it? That's interesting.
I think, if I remember correctly. Get me Rambo.
Huh. So maybe this does take place before the events of Rambo: First Blood.
Which
Or was it
honestly
just-
makes it more fucked up.
Wasn't it just called First Blood?
Yeah. The first
Okay.
first one.
Yeah, it does make it a bit more messed up though, doesn't it?
And then I think it's First Blood Part 2, which is kind of a funny title.
Yeah, it is. You just call that Second Blood.
It's called Second Blood. What do you
Yeah.
Come on.
It's fine.
Who are we trying to
Who are we trying to fool here?
I'm not a Rambo tirade, but I feel like we're all better because of it.
That's right. So I'm going to set up our little stage here. Ooh. Rambo.
Oh shit, it's Rambo.
Oh my god. Whoa. So
What
I
item
do
of Rambo's are we drawing?
well, okay, Rambo maybe, but I actually do like Mad Lad's idea of maybe Pyramid Head.
Pyramid Head would be a good one.
But like so like we left our like Pyramid Head's like vehicle.
That'd be funny.
I won't tell you if it has to be a land, air, or sea vehicle, but maybe Pyramid Head's vehicle. Or the Pyramid Head's
Head get to work.
Yeah, how does Pyramid Head get to work? Let's do that. Let's do that one.
I like
By the way,
Thanks
Brandon.
for the recommendation, Mad Lad.
Yeah, that is a great recommendation. Thank you very much. See, this is why we at least if we get out of our very limited audience, just what we need though. You know, we're always talking about like, oh, if we had a big audience, we would do this.
People
or
we
that.
have are great.
The people we don't whenever we complain about people not watching us, we don't mean that you guys are worthless. We do appreciate the fact that anybody anybody at all engages with us. It really does mean a lot. It's just funny to make fun of the fact that we're almost at episode 200 and, you know, we got like 2 of you.
One for every 100.
We're in it for the love of the game. 2 for every 100.
Right.
So Pyramid Heads, I'm gonna mute your layers.
Yeah, I muted yours. I'm trying to think. What them?
Rambo.
Get me Rambo.
That dude looked like I thought he was a G.I. Joe character.
basically. I mean, I'm sure the show is probably some way to compete with G.I. Joe. I could be
sure.
wrong. I don't know where it lands time-wise, but it feels like it.
It definitely looks like it's in like the same. I mean, it's from the same era, I would say. I don't know when G.I. Joe exactly was airing, but probably around that time. Rambo. All right, Pyramid Head. So yeah, let's talk about the Silent Hill 2 remake while we're drawing stuff.
Playing it on the stream, as many people in the chat, or most of the people in our chat know.
That's right.
I've been really enjoying it. I just came upon Maria, who was a very strange character. I don't know about the PlayStation version, but she wants to bang me for sure in this one.
It's accurate, yeah.
And there's like worm people monsters like slopping around on the ground and like weird mannequin things, and she's like, "Hey, big boy, why don't we take a break in this rusty old, I don't know, like place with corpses around and hook up?" And I'm like, "No, thank you." Or like just nodded. Well, sorry, I don't think so.
So
she's like, "Sheesh."
Yeah, it's such a prude.
Yeah, just trying to have some fun. Trying to bang next to this weird, like, I was trying to describe like the monsters. I don't even know how to describe those monsters. They're like,
that's the lovely thing about Silent Hill is how indescribable. Like that's what the PS1 and like limited PS2 graphics were always like really essential for in conveying in the Silent Hill series, is that like the creatures do feel more amorphous and hard to describe because like the textures just blurred everything and made it so that you can't really make sense of what you're seeing in a way, which adds, I think, a lot to the eeriness of them.
Yeah,
which was one aspect. Yeah, the design is great, which is one aspect that I was also concerned about, like with, updating the game for like modern graphics, is like, there is something to be said for the aesthetic of what older graphics kind of manages to kind of how it makes you feel sometimes.
Yeah, I totally agree. Using the medium to its like for your advantage is a great thing to do.
Yeah.
BB 700.
And that game certainly did it. I'm haven't played much of the original, but I'm loving the remake.
That's good.
Speaking of which, I'll probably play more of that soon on the stream. It's just been
hell yeah.
I've been I had some family. My mom was in town for the weekend and some other stuff, but we'll be back at it again soon.
Cool. Hell yeah. I'm glad that you're enjoying the game, though. I do as much as I want to be the purist and the snob and be like, well, everyone really should play the original, which I do feel that way.
Yeah,
but I understand that no one's going to be able to, or not no one, obviously, but I do understand like why people wouldn't be able to deal with like the very, very archaic nature of how it operates and like what you have to put up with for the game to work. So I'm happy that the remake is, reminding people why people, in some way at least, love the original.
As a purist, I think the things you can enjoy about this at least is that it's done well. So it's like,
yeah, it's done very well.
Not an affront to this thing you love. Yeah. And B, it's going to drive a lot of people who never would have to play the original.
I hope so. And I mean, I do intend to stream the original on stream at some point, which I think will give people maybe that opportunity to engage with it without having to put up with the frustrations, because I'm certainly used to it.
A lot.
Yeah. I do want to do that because I also can talk at length about Silent Hill as a series because I'm such a fanboy. I know a lot more. I know. Like, for instance, you were talking about how the game works with like the limitations of the technology. Which is fun, and it's interesting because like the series exists because of limitations in the technology. When they were making the first Silent Hill game, they had such a hard time getting the draw distances to be significant. It was like really weighing down the PlayStation hardware when they were like developing the original game, that like they realized that if they made the draw distance closer, not only did it save, it made the game run better, but it did make everything seem foggy and kind of enhance this scary mysterious feeling of everything. So the original game takes place in like this foggy ass town because of hardware limitations.
Totally.
Which is just kind of, it's a fun way how just working with what you have literally spawned one of the most beloved franchises and most beloved games of the medium. Just goes to show that like when you don't necessarily fight with the restrictions but learn how to navigate them, you'll probably, I mean, everyone always says good art comes from what's not boundaries, but limitations. Thank you, that's the word I was looking for.
I think I mean it's a great example of like knowing your medium and using it to the best of its ability. Like the things that are limits, I mean we're saying the same thing, but the things that are limits they use to just enhance their design, and that's just like kudos to them. That's a great thing to do.
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
don't see very often.
Yeah, with it's interesting because with how far technology has gotten, and this is not at all a new thought that we're having, by the way, but we're rehashing it because why not? But
new thoughts on this show?
We have thoughts, huh?
Not some original ones. I don't think we have.
No, God, no. But now that technology is able to basically do anything, people are more and more looking for those limitations. It's because I mean, it's exactly why we're doing what we're doing right now, drawing these pyramid head drawings, is we wanted a limitation because it would force us to make creative decisions. This is exactly what we're doing right now. Case in point, this is the whole shebang right here, is where we could draw anything, but when you can do anything, I don't know, sometimes you end up doing nothing. But when you have those limitations, you immediately know what you can work within, and your mind already is starting to come up with ideas. So it's cool that, I mean, it's so like with modern technology, that's why you get so many retro throwbacks. Did you ever read the Brian Eno thing where he talks about like the limitations of technology?
I've not.
I got to read you this quote because it's by Brian Eno, who is a very well-known ambient musician. He made the soundtracks to a lot of things, but he's known for making ambient music, which is not the kind of thing you'd think would, spawn, I guess, maybe such a name is doing ambient stuff, but he did. He's that good.
I mean, it almost feels like that the exact thing we're talking about. Like that doesn't seem like an easy road to travel, but maybe like if you really try to think about what that looks like, you're creating something unique.
Yeah.
And good.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me see. I think I found it. Yeah. Okay. So this is a quote from Brian Eno about the limitations of technology, and I think it's not only so well put and poetic, but it's so true, and it's just it's the way he phrases it is just very beautiful. I think it's a beautiful way of phrasing everything. But he says, whatever you now find weird, ugly, uncomfortable, and nasty about a new medium will surely become its signature. CD distortion, the jitteriness of digital video, the crap sound of 8-bit, all of these will be cherished and emulated as soon as they can be avoided. It's the sound of failure. So much modern art is the sound of things going out of control, of a medium pushing to its limits and breaking apart. The distorted guitar sound is the sound of something too loud for the medium supposed to carry it. The blues singer with a cracked voice is the sound of an emotional cry too powerful for the throat that releases it. The excitement of grainy film, of bleached out black and white, is the excitement of witnessing events too momentous for the medium assigned to record them. And it's just an amazing quote.
It's true too.
Yeah.
And you see it happening.
Yeah.
You know, like people always kind of like call it like hipster and stuff. I don't. I mean, I don't think anybody is like is actually like thinking about why certain things are emulated or could feel that way. But there's like dead media is like popularized again because it's like there's something about all these things that even if they weren't an intentional choice originally, uh, they're charming in a lot of ways.
Yeah. In fact, so every week when we do this show, I do try and recommend independent animation for people to watch and support on YouTube, because that's a very important thing to me. And quite a few of the animations that I will be referencing this week are about utilizing those mediums. One is specifically trying to emulate the graphics of the PlayStation 1, and I actually seek those kinds of videos out because I find them to be extremely charming.
I'm curious to hear what it is because I've been watching one lately that might be the same thing.
Tell me what it is. I'm curious.
I'm trying to remember what it's called. I've been watching on TikTok, and it's very much the style of PlayStation, and it's like these little like shorts about this weird protagonist, and he has a very kind of like I'll have to look it up. I don't
Please do. I would love to
butcher it. I'll pitch it, but they're kind of like comedic because they're played so straight, and then like the not only the style of that era plus the like just like the graphic limitations make it feel really like funny
Yeah.
to watch.
I mean, one of the more beloved shows from Adult Swim's catalog is Xavier Renegade Angel, which is a wild fucking show. But have you ever seen it?
Man, I'm just zero for 10
0 for 10
on
today.
everything.
But Xavier Renegade Angel is a show. It's on Adult Swim. It's wild, and it's like it's very intentionally offensive, but it's like offensive in ways that it's obvious like they're making fun of something, and in some ways they do it some like an offensive stereotype, and only to like immediately push back on it. Like they have a very like stereotypical like Mexican gang of guys who are like, hey man, how's it going? But then like they also get really deep about like talking about interior decoration. Which is just it's a fun that's a dynamic that I don't think I'll ever get tired of, is setting up one stereotype and then immediately throwing in something that like completely goes contrary to what you would expect that stereotype to do. Which is a lot of what Northern
subverting
Exposure
expectations
did.
from like something that you're expecting to be negative.
Exactly. Northern Exposure does that a lot as a TV show, which is a part that I think it really excels at. Is it uses that not just to like subvert your expectations, but also to like provide really well-rounded and real feeling characters.
A good bit.
What's up?
I was just saying it's a good bit.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So anyways, Xavier Renegade Angel is 3D animated, but it's basically, it looks like it was 3D animated in Half-Life. Like Half-Life 1, and that's like the aesthetic of the show. Which is good.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. I like that a lot. I mean, that's kind of like the thing I'm talking about too. So
cool.
I'll have to find it.
Yeah, I hope to see it.
Oh, you'll see it.
Oh. But yeah, Xavier Renegade Angel, crazy show. Absolutely wild. Like that show is wild and weird and crazy, but it's made to look like a Half-Life. Like it's, and very specifically like Half-Life. Like maybe the graphics get a little bit better than Half-Life, but only just barely. But it's really going for that specific sort of era of video games, like Quake and like Half-Life era of graphics. A little bit beyond PS2, but not quite or a little bit beyond PS1, but not quite PS2. But yeah,
I'll have to check that out too.
Yeah.
Gosh, so many things on my list.
I'm full of them, man. This is what happens when you're single most of your life. You just watch a lot of shit.
I watch a lot of shit too, and it's not the right shit apparently.
No, I mean, you watch the right shit too. You've seen The Bear season 2.
I have, and season 3.
They're on season 3?
Oh no, you're right. There's only season 2.
Okay.
But yes, wait. No, yeah, they're on season 3.
Oh my god, I need to catch up.
Yeah, season 3. Yep. I'm like trying to doubt myself now.
I'm making like a pact for myself in the new year to like spend an hour,
Do more television.
not to consume more television, but like every time, like I'm always like, oh, I gotta watch this thing, oh, I gotta watch season 2 of The Bear, or I gotta read this book. And I feel like I don't do these things because I'm like wrapped up in something else, and I always feel pressed for time. So I think every day I'm gonna at least take an hour out to specifically just do something that I think will fulfill me, and that I always put off because I feel stressed.
Give yourself some guilt-free time to just do something you enjoy. It doesn't matter what it is. No wrong answers.
And I think I'm gonna try and do that more often.
I think you should.
Yeah. Specifically, I think I'm going to do it in the form of book reading at first. Like, I'm going to specifically take an hour out of every day to read. That'll be kind of like my start of it, and then maybe it'll expand to just me feeling more in the mindset to just deal with, or just like do other things that I feel not so much compelled to do, but that I want to do.
I think that's good. I feel like I have a pretty good balance. Maybe it's unbalanced in the other way sometimes, but I don't know. I know myself enough to know that I get burned out if I'm not doing things I enjoy. So I definitely give myself that. Just because I found that if I don't give myself that, I may think in the moment I'm being more productive, but it ends up killing my productivity more because I'm just like just like fried.
Yeah. I think that's what I do. I deal with a lot is I fry myself out because I feel like if I'm not doing like the work, I'm wasting time, and it's not a waste of time if I'm having fun. So I gotta break that mindset. Or like especially like I specifically want to take that hour to read, because if I do watch something, I am doing something else. If I'm like playing something, I've got a YouTube video on, or like I feel like this like
focus,
on
your thing.
Like
Honestly, I've been suffering with that too. And my way I've kind of like been getting over it is getting back into movies a lot more.
Yeah.
So I just like give them my full attention, watch a movie for like 90 minutes. I don't know. I've just been doing a lot more of that, and I really enjoy it.
Good.
It's great.
I'm glad to hear that. That's awesome. I need to like I need to train my brain that same way to feel less like harried. I also think I've reached a breaking point. It used to feel like when there was less media to like, we have, as we mentioned earlier in the show, like there's so much stuff out there. Like you're never like, if you ever are watching something and you don't like it, you can just like boop, click and go to something new, and you could do that like infinity times, and you would never run out of like the new thing to switch to. And so I think like I used to feel like, oh, I gotta watch all these things because they're important and etc. And it's like I'm done. I'm just gonna watch what I want, and there's no way to keep up, and that's fine. There's a freeness
your escape from your YouTube subscription list to show me that you are growing in the right direction.
That was a big one for me, actually. That was a huge one for me.
But yeah, I mean, I think maybe, I don't know if this will work for you, but something that works for me as far as not being as like distracted by my phone and by this and that and a YouTube video in the corner and this and that while I'm trying to like consume or enjoy something, is I kind of have to set the space. The ambiance is important. Like if I get my room nice and dark and I like put on some headphones and I get the sound just right and I put a movie on and I'm just like, I get immersed in the screen and I forget about everything else. Then I can enjoy it a lot more.
That's the way to do it. I've been sort of training for that with these coding lessons I've been taking, because for the coding lessons I've found, so first of all, I learned of a new genre of sound, and when I say new genre, it's not new, it's just I never knew the word for it. But it's
Sound guys.
it's a solfeggio. I don't know if you've ever heard that term before.
Oh, I have not. Add it to the list.
Add it to the list of things. So I learned the term solfeggio from just YouTube or from Spotify recommending songs similar to the ones I was like seeking out that I listened to when I was doing coding. And solfeggio is basically, it means like healing frequencies.
Okay.
And so like like when you listen to like solfeggio music, it's like that shit that's just like basically like ooh, you know, for like that
Like tones.
yeah, like that extreme ambiance, just tones and things like that. And I found that really helps me get into the mindset for coding because I'm dealing with such complex things. I need something that's kind of just keeping my brain calm and like not like a fire extinguisher to not set it on fire. And the solfeggio tones are very relaxing, so I've been listening to those, and yeah, I don't know. That's what I've been doing for coding. So like setting that ambiance has been very important to me, and that's been sort of a key to it.
Sometimes, like white noise, in a sense, helps me focus, or kind of like a more meditative state. Some kind of white noise, because it kind of like blocks. It feels like a shield blocking some of that like internal chatter that I can't get over. Right? Like it helps me a lot when I sleep to put on like we have a white noise machine in it. I sleep a lot better because if I'm focusing on like, oh, there's like rain sounds or something, I'm not. That's taking the slot where I would be like thinking about stuff.
Right.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting how that works. That extra noise helps you. Like, not. I don't know.
No, and you're not alone in that for sure. I mean, that's why the white noise machines exist. I'm sure I didn't need to tell you that, but I completely understand, and that's what the solfeggio tones are doing for me.
I assumed, yeah.
It's the same as the white noise, but the white noise doesn't quite calm me down because I hear chaos in white noise.
Fair enough.
But the solfeggio tones are just really they like, especially if I get the right ones. Ooh, and Spotify is interesting because they actually have, if you search solfeggio, you'll find like they have a whole category for it actually, and they actually have it separated by frequency of the tone.
Whoa.
Yeah,
that's surprising.
I was actually shocked about how, like, I was like, wow, somebody on the Spotify team really likes solfeggio tones and curated this shit just for this, which I appreciate because I've been finding that the solfeggio tones are really, it's great. It hits that same spot. So I just found out today that they released a sequel to Wilmot's Warehouse. I don't know if
I saw that.
Yeah, so have I talked to you about Wilmot's Warehouse? I feel like I've talked about it on the show, but I played it.
I don't believe you have, because when I saw the sequel, I looked up the original, and I don't believe I'd ever heard of it.
Oh, okay. I played the original. I played it in like 2020. It was on Game Pass, and I fucking love Wilmot's Warehouse.
Okay. I was looking at it, and I was like, I don't know if that's for me or not, but
it might not be. It's very specific to me, and the thing is, like, when I played the game, I fucking crushed it. I aced the game essentially, but like when I heard this review of the sequel to Wilmot's Warehouse, the person described basically the gameplay loop of Wilmot's Warehouse and described it as stressful. Not for me. But basically Wilmot's Warehouse is, you start off in this giant warehouse space and you can kind of like clear pillars to make more space, but you basically have this cube of space to work with. And they give you maybe 10 items to start with, and they're all just like boxes with an icon, and the icon is the box. So you have like these boxes, and you have like this prep period, and you essentially you have this prep period to organize these boxes however you want. And at 10 items, it's fine. It's easy. It starts off really simple. But by the end of the game, you have like 80 different items that you're trying to organize and separate.
Because you need them like in a pinch, right?
because what happens is after the prep round, these customers appear at your window and you have to fulfill orders based on what's in your warehouse, and you have a very limited amount of time to do them. So it's all about you setting up your own personal categorization system, because all these objects like icons are very abstract, or like maybe like I put the moon shapes with each other, like, or maybe I just put the crescent moons, the left crescents and the right crescents. Maybe I stack those in a corner somewhere. And like, if you ever look in my hard drive, my files are insanely organized to the point where it's almost a detriment to me. And so Wilmot's Warehouse was like,
You're Wilmot.
I'm Wilmot. And like that game scratched such an itch in my brain I never knew I had. Because I fucking crushed it, because I came up with a categorization system, and every day it worked. Even when they threw curveballs, I would just like I would take the hour to reorganize the entire warehouse, and it was very cozy. It's like if you're not stressed out by the actual like fulfilling the orders period of time in the game, oh man, that is such a cozy game.
I would give it a try. I just don't know whether if it'd be something that I'd be like, oh, I love this, or if I would not.
Yeah. Oh, I do intend to. I think I'm gonna buy it in the coming weeks. I think I want to stream it. I think I want to stream Wilmot's Warehouse. I've said
you
like
should.
30 games I want to stream today, but I do want to stream Wilmot's Warehouse. Mad Lad says, just checking, y'all can't see what each other is drawing, right? No, I have no idea what Brandon is drawing. But yeah, I do intend to buy Wilmot's Warehouse, and if I do, I'll let you know, and you can maybe see how you feel about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I fucking love Wilmot's Warehouse. I love Wilmot's Warehouse. I really, really enjoyed my time with that game, just categorizing things and setting up.
And what's the sequel?
So the sequel.
I looked at it and I put it on my wish list, but I can't remember. The moment you start describing it, now it's going to come back to me. But
oh yeah, so the sequel is different than Wilmot's Warehouse. It's no longer a warehouse. There's no longer the time limits. The gameplay mechanic looks the same of how you carry things and pick them up and stack them, but instead of organizing, I'm very sad to say you are solving puzzles, which I love solving puzzles too, so I'm still probably gonna play it.
Oh, that's right. It looks great. I want to play that one.
Yeah.
too.
People are apparently much more happy with the sequel than they were with Wilmot's Warehouse, which I totally get, because again, a game that's strictly about you coming up with your own systems of categorization and organization, definitely not going to be for everybody. Definitely not going to be for anybody.
Yeah, maybe just a touch more niche.
Yeah, it's very niche, however you want to say it.
I know how I want to say it.
I know how you want to say it. And here's the thing, when I said it my way, that wasn't even me trying to do something. That was literally just me repeating what you said, but my brain said it how I like to say it.
You had to correct me.
Yeah.
No, I know that's not why you did that.
And sometimes I feel like I'm that guy though, who's like, actually.
Hey, I wouldn't be offended, because I will correct you all day long on that
Please do.
exact issue.
I would hope to be, and that's why we're friends.
Yeah.
That's not only why we're friends, but you know that.
It's the only reason.
That's the only reason, is because Brandon tells me when I pronounce words wrong.
Yeah. And I'm like, you idiot.
Dummy. You dummy. Yeah, big fan of Wilmot's Warehouse. Really excited to check out the sequel. Yeah. It's just I am sad. I am legitimately very sad that the game is not about extreme categorization.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I haven't played the original, so I can't fully like share your sadness, but in one way it kind of sounds cool, like that they're like, oh hey, this character's back and he's doing some different weird like kind of organization task or something. I know it's not as intense, but I like the idea of like maybe there'll be another game after that's a completely different thing.
Yeah, I am excited. I am excited to see more Wilmot, because it means that there's the possibility of even more Wilmot on the horizon. And plus, I hear there's actually quite an engaging and heartfelt storyline in the sequel, which is really cool, because there is no storyline to speak of in Wilmot's Warehouse, which isn't a detriment to that game. It's not that kind of game, but it's cool that I'm interested in seeing how they.
It's the next step.
Yeah, it's like when it's like when Daft Punk came out with REM or RAM, Random Access Memories, and everyone was like, "What the hell? It doesn't sound like Daft Punk anymore. It sounds like just like porno funk music." And I always had to argue and be like, "No, no, 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 no. This is the next logical step in Daft Punk's evolution of music. They were always creating like funk and disco, but they were always doing it with like samples and like other people's like work. It was like basically Plundertronics, but with like funk and disco. So hearing Daft Punk make Random Access Memories, it just felt like the next evolution of Daft Punk sound. Rest in peace, Daft Punk. Sad that was their last album. And I feel like this kind of feels the same way, where it's like, hey, you know, this is the developers. The developers aren't doing the same thing, and that's okay. It's okay that the developers are expanding and trying out new things that maybe it's not exactly Wilmot's Warehouse, but I'm not going to begrudge them for, you know, making an artistic choice.
There's something to be said that's I would say is valid about maybe like a product, especially a sequel or something that shares the same name, having some kind of like similarity to the original, like for the consumer's standpoint. But honestly, like all that boring stuff aside, when it comes down to it, I mean, if people who make stuff want to like make different things, they don't want to just make the same thing for you over and over again.
Exactly.
So I mean, you know, a musician that's like, hey, well, this is, even if it's like wildly different, I could see like somebody who loves you for your original being sad about it, but at the same time, it's like they want to make different shit. Like not everything's gonna be identical.
And you know, that's the healthy outlook on it. It's because you know, not everyone you know, not everyone I think remembers that artists are just people who just want to make things and are want to explore. It's like when Bob Dylan switched to electric guitar. You know, there was a huge outcry. Everyone was like, "What the hell, Bob Dylan? He'd make folk music. He's not supposed to be all electric guitar." And it's like, yeah, but he wants to be.
Make whatever he wants. Yeah, make whatever the fuck he wants.
Yeah, let him. Let the man live.
Maybe the Who did it right, where they're just like, we're gonna change our name kind of with our vibe a little bit.
Did they do that?
Or did they, or am I thinking? Who am I thinking of?
Oh, Radiohead.
No. Maybe it was Radiohead. I don't know. There's a couple bands have done that. Maybe they didn't, but a couple bands have done that where they're like, all right, we're kind of a different thing.
Yeah, because Radiohead's doing that.
Whether it's members changing or the sound is different, but
because Radiohead's doing that right now. You know, there's Radiohead. Everyone knows Radiohead, I assume. But lately it's all the same band members, as far as I'm aware. But they've been putting out music under the band name The Smile. Because it's just not, it doesn't sound like normal Radiohead music. So they're like, fuck it, we're just gonna name ourselves something different.
I like that.
Yeah, I like it. I respect it because also it keeps them from having to be beholden to the name Radiohead. Like if they were to release these albums and be wildly different from Radiohead's normal output and then people didn't like it, it would be viewed as like tarnishing the legacy of Radiohead.
Yeah, fair.
It's like those,
even though it shouldn't, it is kind of how it's perceived. I would agree.
Yeah. So
you know who I was thinking of?
Who's that?
Garth Brooks. He's the one that did it right.
You know, you're right. He did actually. I mean, fair enough. He wanted to make different kinds of music. He became Chris Gaines.
He thought his way to do it was like, I'm gonna do like a like kind of Star Trek like evil, like goatee version of myself type thing.
Yeah. Funny stuff. Chris Gaines. Mad Lad says something. Hey, I didn't know if you saw my Discord, but do either of you have any interest in joining another watch party for the Halloween film? I'll have to check when you plan on doing that. I am a little tied up at the moment. I haven't told you yet about this, Brandon, but I do actually.
DrawBomb?
I'm quitting DrawBomb. That's right. No.
Oh dang.
Oh yeah, you're sad I'm not quitting DrawBomb? I do drag the show down. I am by far the worst part of the show.
No, there's latency. I was reacting to you saying that was my sadness.
Oh, I'm sorry. But no, yeah, there's this guy. He used to be a roommate of Zone Dog, friend of the show, fan of the show. And he moved to LA and he's a musician now in LA, but he hit me up recently. I'm creating like a short 30-second animation that's going to be part of like his live show that he's putting on.
Oh, amazing.
But I need to have it done by the 5th.
Okay. Well, then we'll hold off working on our little animation till.
Or not the 5th. I'm sorry, that was the original deadline. I need to have it done by Saturday. 5th is tomorrow.
Oh my god.
So I have to get it done by
I get
Saturday.
that.
But I think I can.
Okay.
I think I can like really power through because like I've already set up the whole project where it's going to be really easy because it's just a face. I'm just animating a face, so I've already got it set up where like I can make it. I think I can kind of pull it off in like a couple of hours, really. But it's been a lot of. It's been a lot of. What's that?
I mean, I go back to work after tomorrow, but if you need anything that I can help with, I can't promise, but you know, I'll try to help if I can if you need it.
Yeah, I think I'm good for right now because I just have to.
Okay.
I've got the file set up because I'm a little whiz kid at Clip Studio Paint. I've got it set where like I just need to tween the eyelids up and down, and the eyelids do what I want. I just need like everything is basically tweens that I can like move around and manipulate.
Okay, that's
so
good.
Yeah.
Makes life a bit easier.
So much, and that's why I sort of set it up to be. Because I knew I was working on such a tight deadline, and because we went through so many rounds of viz dev, I intentionally set the file up so that it would be just like quick and easy to animate with.
Mad Lad, when are you doing that?
Yeah, that's the only thing is I'm a little tied up at the moment.
I have some time, but it gets eaten up here. Like the second half of my week is always pretty, unfortunately, busy. But if I'm able to be there, that'd be fun. I'll be down.
I'd love to enjoy your hard work with you and
Fruits of your labor.
Yeah. I did have the tab open of the video for me to watch when I had a free moment, and then I saw that you had taken it down and re-uploaded it for editing fixes, so that I understand. So I haven't had a chance.
You have voices in this as well, right?
Yes, I do.
Nice. I did some voices as well.
Nice. There's no rush. I don't really have a specific time or day in mind. I just know some people weren't there for the one I did last night, and that did want to see it. So it's whenever people would be available. Okay, cool. So yeah, as I've already mentioned, I'm not super available at the moment, but down the line, hell yeah, I'd love to virtually high five you over your hard work and get a chance to experience it with you.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Check out Mad Lad's animation. It's like an hour and 45 minutes long. The Siege on Halloween 2, I believe it's what it's called.
I like it feels very reminiscent of some of like the Gary's Mod stuff we used to do when we were years ago, and I think of that stuff fondly.
Yeah, that it does take me back to a bygone era of YouTube videos like Gmod's Idiot Box. Like I remember that one time we were gonna make that like fake cop show with combines in it,
Oh yeah, I forgot all about that.
And I have like a special spot in my Wilmot's warehouse of a brain just for like all the creative ideas that like I've ever seriously entertained that I never got to do. It's just like they're all sitting in there.
Fun.
But yeah, it does take me back to like that bygone era of making machinima. You don't really that is kind of a dead genre nowadays, isn't it? I mean, I guess people do make stuff on Source Filmmaker, which has been a huge like push forward for the machinima format, but I feel like I just don't see machinima anymore. So it's cool to see Mad Lad bringing it back in a way.
Yeah. Mine's pretty close to done. I haven't colored like the background. I'm not sure that I'm going to, but
I'm just about done. I don't have I have a background element, but I don't have a background, but I am mostly finished. One of my friends compared it to Red versus Blue. Absolutely, that is a very
Totally.
accurate description. Big fan of Red versus
That's-
Blue. Red versus Blue didn't have any right to be as good as it was. It was like really. That show got so crazy in depth as it went on, and like legitimate twists and turns with the characters that I ended up giving a shit about. And then like they hired that one guy to do like those crazy animations in it eventually. Rest in peace him. It's unfortunate what happened to that guy. I wish I knew his name so I could call him something other than that guy. But you know, I miss those days of Red versus Blue. It was cool stuff. And now I don't know if you can watch Red versus Blue anywhere anymore. Now that Funhouse and
Oh really? Well, I think it's on like on some streaming service. I feel like
it was on YouTube for a while, but I mean, it was on YouTube for a while. But Warner Brothers purchased Rooster Teeth, and then they just shut down Rooster Teeth like half a year ago. So it's like, you know how Warner Brothers has their penchant for.
It's on Prime, I believe.
Interesting. Okay. I imagine it's got to still be on YouTube. It'd be weird if it wasn't, right?
Yeah, season 1 through 8 is on Amazon Prime.
Okay, that's pretty good. How many seasons did they end up having? Like 15?
I don't know. It might be 8. Might be more.
Might be 8. Yeah.
That's what's on.
Oop, hold on. Oh my God, 16 seasons, and they're all on YouTube. Someone's been
not
very.
8.
Yeah, someone was very helpful and made a playlist. Yeah, Red versus Blue was really good.
Hi, everybody.
What would you done if I got shot in the foot? Rub some Vicks Vapor out of my shoulders? Or something like that. I don't know. It was a funny quote. I'm pretty much just like coloring details at this point. Whenever you say you're done, I can basically. There's no rush to you, by the way. I'm not rushing you. You're allowed to take your time.
I was gonna say I'm done, but right as you were asking me that, I started to do like one last little thing, but it'll be done. It'll be done like less than 10 seconds.
All right.
Okay, I'm done.
All right. I don't even have a larger joke or idea to mine. I just thought it'd be funny if I drew what I'm drawing right now. Actually, to be honest, I think I know why I drew what I drew, but I'll talk about it in a moment. But
Oh my God, you're okay. So I didn't say anything. I also didn't start doing it, but I almost drew exactly what you did. I
Holy
googled
shit.
what a Mario Kart looks like just so I could do it similarly. That's funny.
That's very funny. I love that you decided to go with the Cybertruck. That is so perfect. That is.
I was drawing like a
Top
car that
tier
kind
joke.
of resembled his head, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this looks like the Cybertruck. So I started over.
That's so good, man. That's so good. That's really funny. The reason I feel like I felt compelled to draw Pyramid Head driving this go-kart is because I also followed I'm following the person on YouTube now who made Bloodborne Kart, although they're not allowed to call it Bloodborne Kart anymore. But the person who developed the Bloodborne PS1 demake and made what was called Bloodborne Kart is now called something else. They make actually really funny, again, PS1 aesthetic animations on YouTube. And so I watched a bunch of their animations, so I feel like that's why I felt particularly drawn to it.
I like it. There's something fun there. Like I said, I almost did it too. Although I was gonna make him like, I probably would have given him like a little like chibi body with like his big head.
Oh yeah, I wanted to try and draw like fucked up like fencing, because fencing is a big or gates, you know, is a big aspect of the aesthetic of the nightmare worlds in Silent Hill. But I just gave him a rusty go-kart. But I think
I like that we
yours
both made our vehicles rusty.
yeah, I felt like it feels necessary, but
Mm-hmm.
it also tells me that, you know, Silent Hill 2 is conveying the aesthetics well, which makes me happy to see. But I think
comment I keep making on the stream is like a tetanus nightmare.
Yeah.
Like everywhere you go.
Absolutely. And I do feel like yours is an overall more solid joke. Like it's yours as a concept is very funny.
Thanks.
Yeah. This is good though. I think I'm pretty happy.
Mad
with
Lad says this the Cybertruck is what immediately popped into their head for a Pyramid Head vehicle. Yeah, it took me a second to get there, and people who were watching the stream could see me like figure it out. But I was drawing like a weird pyramid shaped car, and then it just like one thing led to another.
I do actually have a question about the Silent Hill 2 remake, because I didn't get a chance to see all of what you've played so far.
Okay.
It would be nice to leave some of it a mystery to me, but I am also interested in.
Sure, I won't spoil everything.
No, it's fine. But I am curious, when you first encountered Pyramid Head in the remake, is he like fucking the mannequins on a kitchen counter?
He was like, I think he was like wrestling with one.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. That's, and it is in the game, in the original. It's just, it looks like wrestling, but the implication is a sexual assault is happening.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I might be a little like oblivious sometimes to like what was intended, but yeah, it just looked like he was kind of like grabbing it and it was trying to like get away. Or maybe
When
they toned it down too.
no,
like-
the thing is, it comes across very confusing in the original, but it does look a little sex assaulty. The way
Okay.
it is, it is like it does just come across as like wrestling on the kitchen counter, but it is very the implication is there. But I was just curious. I was just curious about that.
Madla makes another point. Technically, you first encounter him standing in the apartment.
Right.
Hall. Yeah, he's
On the
down
other side of
like
that.
long hall.
Yeah, that's also how they did it in the original. It's so good because you're in that in the original. It's probably how it plays out in the game too, because it does seem like they know what moments hit, and it's because like Mad Lad also described a moment that really hits in the original, and it seems like they very accurately convey that feeling in the remake as well, which has me very excited. In general, what I can say about the remake is the moments that are important, especially to me. So far everything I've seen has been good. Like it's been a good interpretation of the moments that were important to me in Silent Hill 2. Which is very exciting.
It seems like the game. I've said this a number of times, but the game is like all atmosphere. Like there's, it's not that difficult. And I don't mean that even as like a bad thing, but it's like it's not. It's not. There's not that many. All the threats are like cultivated by your own mind. There's not really like that many enemies that are like killing you constantly if you do misstep or press a button wrong.
Yeah, which is.
But the atmosphere does such heavy lifting that you're just like the whole time, even though maybe there really isn't that much of a threat. I don't know. It's just impressive.
Yeah,
like some games, the fear is made from just being worried about getting killed.
Yeah, but you saying that, honestly, like you saying that sentence alone, and especially with in combination the other things I've seen that they have again nailed in terms of what was important to me. That sentence where you say it's the atmosphere that does the heavy lifting, it tells me that at least Bloober Team did it right. I will say that. I think I can at least rest assured this is a well done, faithful adaptation.
That was the new Superfly.
That's good. I'm legitimately very relieved.
You'll have to play it at some point.
I will.
Feeling like it.
Oh, I'm going to. Yeah, I mean, it's it's
Okay.
the family share, but
I didn't know what level of purist you were. Where you were
Oh
just
no,
like, no.
I'm not that kind of guy. I'll play the.
I didn't think you were. I'm just saying.
I am. I'm just glad that it seems like they are providing the experience that they are conveying the experiences that made Silent Hill 2 what it was for me so far. I can't speak to everything past basically where you or Mad Lad are, but everything up until this point has done a good job of taking, at the very least, the essence of the moments that really struck a chord with me in Silent Hill 2, and manages to, and it seems like I'm not the only one who felt like those moments were important, because it seems like Bloober Team, at least, took those same moments that were important to me and has done a good job in recreating why they were important to me.
Yeah, it's sometimes when there's a remake or a reboot, it's clear that they totally miss don't understand why the original was good.
Yeah.
And this one they seem to have their priorities straight. For at least
Thank
from what
God
I
for
can
that,
see.
man.
Yeah.
I mean, remember when Konami released that like combat trailer for Silent Hill 2? Oh my God. What a mistake.
I don't know if I saw that, but
Oh,
I don't
man.
think I watched a lot of the trailers.
And Zach, I can't speak on the ritual monster. I don't know yet, but that was the one thing that I didn't bring that up. But when I said as far as how you guys have gone, I wonder if they did it. I don't know. I'm curious how they did the ritual monster, because the ritual monster was also a very important aspect of Silent Hill 2 for me. So I am curious how they handled that as well. But I didn't want to bring it up as the ritual monster because I feel like it's going to
Want to spoil nothing if it's in the game.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep chipping away at it soon. Who this ritual monster is? It sounds like a.
I wish I could say. I mean, I would love. I want you guys to beat this game because I just want to fucking geek out at you guys about Silent Hill 2.
We'll get there. We'll get there. We're
I'm
working
just
on
gonna
it.
geek out so hard. There's so many things that you guys will not understand about the game until like you have a nerd like me who has read like the design docs and like poured over the lore. And also who's played the game.
I'm excited to do Silent Hill Book Club after.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
We beat it. On that note, we have gone over a little bit, but Ian, do you have anything to plug?
Well, I'm gonna plug Bodyhead once again. It's on YouTube.
Absolutely.
It is the Adult Swim show, my only professional credit as an animator. For all we know, it's gonna be my only ever professional credit as an animator, so I'm really riding this one as hard as I can. But please watch it on YouTube. Do the YouTube metrics things if you can. Tell your friends. Holy shit. It'd be amazing for this show to get picked up. For everybody involved, not just me. But other than that, I do have a bunch of independent animation I want to plug, but I'm gonna do that after you have your say, Brandon. Do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm giving you full handling of the plugs tonight. I don't have anything, and
Okay.
We're over a little bit, and I know you got some stuff to talk about, so it's all
right. I'll try and make it quick because we are over a little bit. I feel bad that
you don't have to rush. I'm just saying I'm just moving it along to you.
I do feel bad that sometimes I know it's not keeping.
No. I enjoy it.
So I'm going to plug some independent animation I found on YouTube over the past week. As I've been plugging these independent animations on YouTube keeps recommending more. So I'm just gonna there's a shit ton this week, you guys. There's a shit ton. I posted links in the links section of DrawBomb Live. So feel free to check that out. There'll be a link to everything I'm about to describe. But I'm going to start it off on the top of the list.
Homestar Runner?
Homestar Runner released a new Halloween short. They have released a new Halloween short.
Wow.
As far as I know, every year. They did one last year as well.
That.
So I recommend checking out the Homestar Runner short. If you fucking want to go back to the olden days of the internet, Homestar Runner still putting out content every so often. And it's nice to see. And honestly, it's still good. It's the same old host, like they haven't fucked it up. It's still the same old Homestar Runner you love. So that's good. Up next is by Deadly Comics. It's called Grave Sitter. I don't know how to describe it. Someone described it very perfectly in the YouTube comments, so I'll just put it. First of all, it's got very impressive visual effects. There's like this CRT TV monitor effect that sort of happens, and it's played in very interesting ways. But really what it ultimately comes down to is it's about a 2-minute long animation that seems like it's very, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like it has a lot of meaning behind it. Like it seems like it's kind of going for a lot of depth, but it's actually just kind of a shit post. So then next up is by Lollipop Man. It's called Freelance, a short film. It's lovely 3D animation. It's very stylized. It's very bouncy. It's very fun. It's got that classic sort of look to it. You can kind of tell the aesthetic it's going for with the preview picture. It's very on a 2D plane, that sort of look. So it's kind of doing that the whole time. But it's a little story about, as you can see, a knight. He's got a dragon head there, and it's a little bit of an accurate summary of what it's like to be a freelancer. So it's a fun little, it's also a fun little metaphor there. Up next, co-op number 4, Doom animation by The Door from E1M2. I found this YouTube. You guys know how much I love Doom, so YouTube found that perfect little sweet spot for me. This guy has been basically making a little animated series of these Doom guys playing co-op together and just kind of going through some levels and fighting monsters and doing Doom things. The animation pops off at times, and it's very impressive. And what's also interesting is how the guy animates it. Is he animates it on a 100 by 100 pixel canvas, and then blows everything up after the fact to retain that classic Doom pixelated look. And it feels very in the aesthetic. And again, the animation does pop off. So definitely check that out, especially if you're a Doom head like I am. Trick or Treat 2024. Just a cute little animation about a person and playing a video game and little cute Halloween critter. Again, it's going for that PS1 graphics aesthetic, which is what, intrigued me in the first place. Check it out. It's a cute little Halloween animation. It's a lot of fun. Next up, I feel weird just like going down this list. I don't know.
I'm very excited to watch these. they look really like, I don't know. The thumbnails got me interested. I'm gonna watch them all.
Thumbnails are why I click too. So it's also a good, if you folks need any good ideas on how to make thumbnails that might draw your attention, this might be a good list. But the next one is Andy Land's 1 million. So it's a little YouTube short celebrating hitting 1 million subscribers on YouTube. If you guys haven't checked out Andy Land before, I really can't recommend Andy Land enough. They've been posting for a while. I've encountered their animations in the wild in the past, but it wasn't until very recently that I realized, like, oh, that dope animation I watched was made by the same person who made that dope animation I watched. So Andy Land makes a bunch of really dope animations. A lot of them are in YouTube Shorts format. But this one animation celebrating his 1 million views is so fucking cool. I watched it. And I commented on the video and I said, this animation is so cool, you deserve another 1 million subscribers just for this. It's phenomenal. I really can't recommend this animation enough. Of the whole list, this one hits me in my aesthetics the most. And also Andy Land is working on a
aesthetics.
Right in the aesthetics, right in the feel. Right in the that mouth feel. But Andy Land is also working on a scary point and click adventure game called Endocopia. And yeah, so I'm excited for that, but it's also, they released like a little video explaining that it's taking a long time to make it, but it's like a cute little animation. But what I really like about it is he did that like Banjo-Kazooie kind of like vocal effect for when he's talking in it, but you can tell like he recorded the line that the character is saying, but then he still chopped it up. And so it's
awesome.
It's a really, I love that.
It's a nice touch to actually go through that part of recording it.
Yeah,
like make it illegible.
And I like that aesthetic too, that like Banjo-Kazooie like sort of way of people
So it's
talking.
kind of like an Animal Crossing vibe thing too.
Yeah, absolutely. Animal Crossing also really, that it's just an aesthetic.
The syllables are there even though it's not English.
Yeah, I love that I don't know, something about that, just like I like that aesthetic. The last two, Education Connection. It's a cute little animation just going along with some kind of song from a commercial. It's just funny.
I remember that commercial.
Yeah, nice. So,
yeah, I remember that. It was like a 90s thing. Come on when you're...
So yeah, this person made a little animation to go with that song, and it's cute, it's bouncy, it's fun, it's well animated. I don't know. Check it out. It's a good little time. And then finally is Gaurzilla by Crash Landing Studios. It's a very interesting 3D animation. Like, it's weird because it at times looks very real, but also very 3D anime, I guess, at the same time. I checked out other videos on the person's channel, so I think the characters in it are like popular VTubers or something. I don't know. Just getting that vibe from the rest of their channel and the animations that they made. But it's a really nicely done 3D animation. about a shark girl who gets inspired by Godzilla, and it's really impressively done in the way it's like it looks, like the way the
thumbnail looks impressive.
Yeah, and that's what drew me again. That's what drew me to it. Was I was like, whoa, whatever this 3D animation is going to look like, it's going to be something different, and it does. It's a very different look. It's like animated like on twos almost, like, or not twos. It's like sometimes the animations are like 2 frames a second. It's like very non-interpolated 3D animation, which is it's still a cool thing to see.
Cool.
And yeah, that's all the independent animations I remembered to show you guys this week. But
Love it. I'm excited to dig through these. These look great.
yeah, please check them out if you like.
I want to get my algorithm to give me animation too.
Yeah, and this will help if you thumbs these up and watch these. They'll probably get a little bit more.
Lastly, I did think of one thing to plug, unless you have something else.
No, I was just gonna say, really check out the Andyland 1 million one. It's so fucking cool. It's so cool.
I will. I'll watch that as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
But lastly, I do want to say, everybody, please go vote on our Choose Your Own Adventure thing.
Yes. I like that. Nicely done.
It's in the Discord. I'll drop the link in the chat one more time. If you're not, I'm already part of it.
All right.
Go vote on that. Thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate you. Mad Lad, Z-Newts, Lotus Clock. I think that's it. But we appreciate you guys.
Yeah. Thank you all for being here.
All the best.
Thanks for hanging out while mostly I yabber again on and on. I feel like I just yabber all the time.
That's what the show is. It's we're just chatting. We're hanging out.
Yeah. But thanks for hanging out with us while we do just that, everybody.
We appreciate you. Thank you for watching our show.
We appreciate you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.